Chapter 81. The long-legged girl on Su-Yun's shoulder was definitely eye-catching. When he arrived at the parking lot, Wan Qingshuang and the others had already arrived. Su-Yun opened the trunk and Cho-Yun threw the fainted Ma Pinghai inside. "You drive. Take me and Qin-Wan to the police station first." Su-Yun handed the car keys to Cho-Yun while stuffing the fainted Qin-Wan into the back seat. Cho-Yun was startled. She knew that Red Scorpion would arrive soon. In fact, she hoped that she could join forces with Su-Yun. Maybe they would have a chance to win. Su-Yun could see Cho-Yun's thoughts. If we let Red Scorpion run wild here, people will die. In the end, Cho-Yun chose to give up. She got in the car and drove away. The Audi drove out of the west gate of the Hudong International Hotel and passed by a man wearing a black hoodie. Qin-Wan quickly sent Su-Yun to the police station. Qin-Wan woke up from the bumpy ride. Her first reaction was to flip out. "Su-Yun, what do you want, you bastard? What's the difference between you and protecting a criminal?" Su-Yun pointed at the entrance of the police station. "You can go in now and say that I'm protecting a criminal and arrest me. But I still have to tell you, if you send the police to the Hudong International Hotel to arrest people, there will be innocent people involved. Qin-Wan, you are a police officer. You should put the interests of the people first." "Oh." Qin-Wan was speechless by Su-Yun's words. Sister Wan Guogua supports Dad. Guogua was not a child of an ordinary family. She had already realized what had happened. Wan Qingshuang touched Guogua's face. She had never thought that so many unbelievable things would happen around her. She admitted that she was very flustered, but with Guogua and Su-Yun around, she felt particularly at ease. Su-Yun opened the car door. "Ma Pinghai is in the trunk." Wan Qingshuang said with a serious face. "Su-Yun, I believe you. You have your reasons for doing things. Come with me and take Ma Pinghai in." "I'll let him go in by himself." Su-Yun nodded and smiled, then said to Cho-Yun, "You guys go back first." Cho-Yun did not say anything. After Su-Yun and Cho-Yun got out of the car and took Ma Pinghai out of the trunk, she drove away directly. Cho-Yun did not like the smell of the police at all. Ma Pinghai had already woken up in the back. After being taken out, he greedily breathed in the fresh air. When he came to his senses and realized his situation, he was dumbfounded. "What are you doing?" Ma Pinghai panicked. "Ma Pinghai, don't play dumb here." Su-Yun sneered. "Now I'll give you two choices. Either you go in with Qin-Wan, and explain everything clearly, or I'll lynch you." Ma Pinghai's voice trembled. "Su-Yun, I'm telling you you'll regret it." "I never regret what I do." Su-Yun directly raised his foot and kicked Ma Pinghai a few meters away. "I'd like to see who will regret it today." Ma Pinghai was kicked out and wanted to get up and run. However, when he just got up, Su-Yun was already standing in front of him. With a heavy slap, Ma Pinghai's whole body flew in the air, spun around, and fell heavily on the ground. Su-Yun sneered. "Today I'll tell you who is the evil man who only cares about killing." "Ah, ouch." Ma Pinghai groaned in pain and rolled and crawled to Qin-Wan. "Murder. You're a policeman. You heard it. He wants to kill me." Qin-Wan rolled her eyes and acted as if nothing had happened. "What did I hear?" "Sorry, I didn't hear anything." Ma Pinghai was stunned. "What does that mean?" Qin-Wan went straight to the station and did not care about what happened behind her. Su-Yun's eyes were cold. Suddenly, a real murderous aura directly attacked Ma Pinghai. The police don't bother to protect a person who has no value. Ma Pinghai's entire body shuddered. That kind of fear that penetrated his heart and lungs rose spontaneously, wrapping him up from all directions. Suddenly, Ma Pinghai ran to the police station crazily and shouted while running, "I know about the wanted criminal Hao Kai. I'll tell you. I'll tell you everything." Several policemen on duty heard him and rushed out. Qin-Wan went forward and explained a few words. Several people quickly handcuffed Ma Pinghai. Su-Yun did not like to deal with the police. He did not care about the rest of the things. That poisonous scorpion was not so easy to deal with. He was afraid that he would hide somewhere else after missing the target. Qin-Wan might be interrogated overnight. Su-Yun did not continue to wait for her, and went straight back to the medicinal cuisine house. After Su-Yun came back, he did not find anything unusual. Chang and the three tigers of Southern City were in the restaurant. When they saw Su-Yun come back, they asked him what happened to the Cho-Yun. They were so scared that they did not dare to say anything. I don't know. Su-Yun shrugged. Okay, you all go back. Oh yes, Jin Biao in the Eastern District and Wu Lei in the Western District will follow Sister Shuang. As for Ma Pinghai in the Northern District, well, I guess he will be in prison for at least 2 years for harboring such an important wanted criminal. Everyone was shocked. Even if Dan Hongning was beaten to death, he did not dare to think that he would be able to take down Jin Biao and Wu Lei after this meal. Brother, are you kidding us? Changzi didn't quite understand. Su-Yun was too lazy to explain to them. Go, the restaurant is closed. If you affect Sister Yan's rest, I can't protect you. When they thought of the cold look of Cho-Yun, they could not help but break out in a cold sweat. They quickly got up and left. After Su-Yun closed the restaurant door, he went upstairs. Cho-Yun was sitting in the room with Guogua to do homework. Guogua was surprisingly quiet today. She was so well-behaved that people wondered if she was real. When Wan Qingshuang saw Su-Yun come back, she poured him a glass of water and asked, Su-Yun, I think there is something wrong with Cho-Yun today. Yes. Su-Yun nodded and smiled faintly. Let's do this. Let her and Guogua share a room tonight. Wan Qingshuang was stunned. I'm afraid that Guogua will not be obedient. Guogua is more obedient in front of her than in front of you. Su-Yun understood that Cho-Yun's abnormality was because she had smelled danger. Now she could only feel safe by staying with Guogua. Perhaps Feng Qiansui's burden on her was too heavy. That's the only way. Wan Qingshuang was still a little reluctant. She was used to Guogua's naughty look every night, asking to listen to stories. Su-Yun saw that Wan Qingshuang was not in good spirits, so he asked, Are you still uncomfortable? Do you want me to massage you again? Wan Qingshuang blushed. No, I'm fine. You can fool others, but you can't fool me. Su-Yun smiled. Let's go to my room. I have something to tell you. Wan Qingshuang nodded and said to Su-Yun, I have something to tell you too. They went to the room and closed the door. Su-Yun said first, Maybe we want to talk about the same thing? Medicinal cuisine? Wan Qingshuang frowned. Yes. Su-Yun nodded. Why does Hudong International Hotel have your medicinal cuisine recipe? I don't remember having any cooperation with them. Wan Qingshuang was also very confused. Yes, Dan Hongning wanted to cooperate with them before, but their boss refused. Su-Yun smiled bitterly. It seems that he wants to create his own medicinal cuisine, but it's too fake. It seems that our chef has spread the medicinal cuisine recipe. Wan Qingshuang did not mind. If it's spread, it's spread. It can be considered as spreading it. That won't do. Su-Yun denied. It's not a problem to spread it, but it's a little disgusting that they don't want to cooperate with us and play such dirty tricks behind our backs. Then what do you want? Wan Qingshuang was stunned. Sister Shuang, don't worry. I know what I'm doing. Su-Yun smiled. Guogua seemed to have finished her homework. She hummed excitedly and ran out. She said to Su-Yun's room, Mom, I'm going to Sister Wan-Er's room tonight. He let Dad sleep with you. Wan Qingshuang blushed and hurried to open the door. She looked at Guogua with a red face and said, Guogua, you're talking nonsense again. Guogua was very surprised when she saw Wan Qingshuang. She sighed helplessly and glanced at Su-Yun, who was sitting in the room. Dad, it can't be. You're so weak. Mom has been in there for so long, but there's no sign of her clothes being untidy. How do you want me to teach you? A man needs to be more proactive. Looking at Guogua's serious face, Wan Qingshuang was really defeated. What was this guy trying to do? Su-Yun really wanted to jump off the building and die. He was such a handsome and decent young man, but Guogua called him a useless man. He was so weak. Mom, let's go take a bath. Guogua said without any pressure. I don't like to take a bath with Sister Cho-Yun. She won't let me play with the yellow duck. Wan Qingshuang nodded helplessly. Okay, Mom will go with you. Wash up and go to bed immediately. Do you hear me? Okay. Guogua nodded and looked at the petrified Su-Yun. Dad, let's take a bath together? If you let Guogua play with the yellow duck, then we can take a bath together. Otherwise, you can take a bath with Sister Cho Yun. What else could Su-yin say? He was envious of Guogua. She could take a bath with whoever she wanted. Damn, Su-yin swore that if either Ruan Qingshuang or Cho Yun was willing to take a bath with him, he could take a bath for the rest of his life and not play with the yellow duck. He could even not play with it in the next life. Nonsense. Cho Yun, who had returned to the room, came out and flicked Guogua's forehead. She felt that it was necessary to teach this guy a lesson. Otherwise, she would often be shot at in the future. Ouch. Guogua grimaced in pain. If you don't want to say it, then don't say it. I have good intentions. What if I slip while taking a bath alone? One more person is one more helper. You still want to say it? Cho Yun raised her hand again. Guogua held her head and rushed into the bathroom. Ruan Qingshuang helplessly went to get a change of clothes. Cho Yun was relieved. Chapter 82. Taking a bath with Ruan Qingshuang, or taking a bath with Cho Yun, was both a dream for Su-yin. After Ruan Qingshuang gave Guogua a bath, Guogua was directly taken into the room by Cho Yun and forced to sleep. Afraid of being embarrassed, Ruan Qingshuang also hurried back to her room. However, in the end, Guogua still ran back to Ruan Qingshuang's room in order to listen to the story. Although Cho Yun was a bit worried, she decided to let it go. Perhaps Guogua could only find that kind of peace by Ruan Qingshuang's side, because this woman's personality was really similar to Guogua's mother's. Su-yin quietly completed his breathing exercises on the bed, and then filled the bathtub with hot water. Aside from massage, this was the best way to relax the whole body. A great battle was about to strike, and it was impossible to say that he wasn't nervous at all. After all, Su-yin had never faced this kind of first-rate expert alone. Although the missions he went on with his brothers in the past were more dangerous than this, they were still team battles, and they could always look after each other. Now that he was facing it alone, it was a bit troublesome. The hot water allowed Su-yun's whole body to enter a relaxed state. He was very clear that Scarlet Scorpion, who had missed, would definitely sniff out their scent. Finding them was something that would happen sooner or later. With Cho Yun's current state, it was impossible for her to be a match for Scarlet Scorpion. No matter how troublesome it was, he had to face this matter head-on. Turning off the lights, Su-yun's whole body relaxed as he comfortably closed his eyes. Who cares? In any case, he was always going to deal with whatever came his way. After an unknown amount of time, Su-yun vaguely heard some sounds. His relaxed nerves were suddenly stretched taut, but he quickly heard a familiar sigh. Qin Wanner had returned. Su-yun didn't expect that a mere Scarlet Scorpion would be able to make him so nervous. He couldn't help but smile bitterly. It seemed that he had left that place for too long and hadn't smelled the scent of danger for a long time. Now he even felt that it was somewhat unfamiliar. Qin Wanner and the special team interrogated Ma Pinghai overnight. Ma Pinghai insisted that he had nothing to do with the wanted criminal Hao Kai. The leader immediately made a decision. The armed police surrounded Ma Pinghai's villa in Nine Rock Mountain, but they did not find Hao Kai at all. Because they did not catch the wanted criminal and had no evidence, Ma Pinghai was happy. He said that he would let them go if there was no evidence. He also wanted to sue Qin Wanner for wronging him. Seeing this, the bureau could only let Qin Wanner go home first. Because there was no evidence, he could only let Ma Pinghai go. After all, Ma Pinghai was a well-known person in the city. He had the title of the street secretary. If he was really wronged, it would have an unnecessary impact on society. Therefore, Chen Wei decided to let him go. Qin Wanner was as depressed as she could be. She could only reluctantly return to the medicinal cuisine house. It was already 1 o'clock in the morning, but she didn't have any results. Qin Wanner knew that it was useless to be depressed. It was better to have a good rest and continue to work hard tomorrow. Su-yin was lying in the bathtub. The water in the bathtub was already cold. He patiently waited for Qin Wanner to go to sleep so that he could get out of the bath. However, Qin Wanner did not do as he wished. She actually opened the bathroom door and walked in. Su-yin, who was hiding behind the shower curtain in the bathtub, regretted it. If he had known earlier, he would not have turned off the light. Or maybe he should have made some noise just now. Was it too late to make a sound now? Just as Su Yun was wondering if he should give Qin Wan-er a hint, Qin Wan-er turned on the light with a snap, and then gently closed the door. Through the shower curtain, Su Yun vaguely saw Qin Wan-er's graceful figure. She softly hummed, "Because of love." She directly took off her clothes. Su Yun was completely speechless. He knew that if Qin Wan-er found him now, she would definitely kill him. Then Qin Wan-er took off her pants. Although Su Yun could only vaguely see her figure through the shower curtain, he was still stimulated by this scene. His blood was spurting out and his little heart was beating fast. "Qin Wan-er, do you have to take off your clothes just to wash your face and brush your teeth?" Su Yun was very speechless. Wait. Su Yun suddenly understood. Normal people would certainly not take off their clothes to wash their face and brush their teeth. Did Qin Wan-er not only want to wash her face and brush her teeth? Hua. The shower curtain was pulled open from the outside. What the f***ck? It turned out that she wanted to take a bath. When Su Yun understood all this, it was already too late. Qin Wan-er stood in front of the bathtub with her naked body. She opened her eyes wide and stared at Su Yun, who was also naked in the bathtub. Qin Wan-er seriously suspected that she was hallucinating because of the tiredness of the past few days, but she did not want to believe that she would hallucinate such a scene. "Hi." Su Yun smiled innocently and greeted her. "I just accidentally fell asleep here. If you want to take a bath, I will let you." Qin Wan-er's mouth twitched. She took the bath towel and wrapped it around herself. She closed her eyes and was about to shout hysterically. However, the moment before Qin Wan-er shouted, the door suddenly opened outside. Then Cho Yun angrily shouted, "Who is it?" A bone-chilling laughter rang out from the corridor window. Qin Wan-er was stunned. Her face was full of confusion and panic. Su Yun immediately frowned. Oh no. It must be Qin Wan-er who called Red Scorpion. Red Scorpion had indeed followed Qin Wan-er to this place. When he received Ma Pinghai's call, the first thing he did was to go to the Hudong International Hotel to arrest him. However, when he arrived, the person was already gone. Jin Biao, who was still at the scene, cautiously asked if he was looking for Ma Pinghai. In the end, Red Scorpion directly choked Jin Biao to death. He only asked, "Where did he go?" Jin Biao was completely defeated by the intense fear of death. He quickly said that Ma Pinghai had been arrested by the police. Red Scorpion did not hesitate to chase him to the police station. He knew that there must be a special task force investigating him. So Ma Pinghai must be interrogated by the special task force in the police station. He did not care if Ma Pinghai would betray him. He only wanted Ma Pinghai to tell him where the woman and child were. Clearly, Red Scorpion did not catch up to them. However, he had been hiding near the police station. Soon, he saw many special police officers gather and set off. At that time, Red Scorpion knew that these people were going to Ma Pinghai's house to arrest him. Red Scorpion did not care about these things. He only knew that the police would not be able to catch Ma Pinghai. Sooner or later, Ma Pinghai would be released. As long as he could get information about the woman and child from Ma Pinghai's mouth, he could execute this fellow who betrayed him. As expected, Red Scorpion did not wait in vain. When Qin Wan-er came out, the police officer on duty at the door casually asked, "Officer Qin, is Ma Pinghai really someone who is harboring a wanted criminal?" "There's no evidence." Qin Wan-er helplessly smiled and turned around to call a taxi to leave. All of this was heard by Red Scorpion, but Red Scorpion did not act blindly without thinking. The instant Qin Wan-er got into the taxi, he flicked a dark red GPS chip into the taxi. 10 minutes later, Ma Pinghai walked out of the police station as if he had lost his soul. His face was filled with the expression of someone who had narrowly escaped death. Originally, Ma Pinghai thought that he was destined for good fortune after surviving a great disaster. However, before he could call a taxi, someone covered his mouth and dragged him into the woods behind the police station. Ma Pinghai looked at Red Scorpion in front of him with a face full of fear. He trembled as he called out, "Master Kai, you told me to go to the restaurant to find you. Why did you run over to the police station to drink tea?" Red Scorpion had a calm smile on his face. "Master Kai, I didn't say anything. I really didn't say anything," Ma Pinghai said nervously. "I found the person you told me to find. However, there were police around them. I called you and was discovered." That's why I ended up like this. Red Scorpion smiled faintly. The person I told you to find is with the police. Yes, a female police officer. Her surname is Jean. Ma Pinghai hurriedly said. She's the one who brought me here. I couldn't keep an eye on those two people. She just left the police station. As long as I find her, I'll find that woman and that child. Ma Pinghai immediately recalled the conversation he had heard at the police station entrance. Qin Wan who had left in a taxi, quickly entered his mind. Is the female police officer you're talking about wearing casual clothes? Blue jeans and a milky white t-shirt? She also has a very hot figure. Ehe. Yes, it's her. Ma Pinghai's face finally revealed an excited smile. He thought that as long as he helped the person in front of him find the person he was looking for, he would be free. Red Scorpion's face revealed a relaxed smile. I know. Thank you. Ma Pinghai completely let out a sigh of relief. Master Kai, this is what I should do. You see, I've done everything you told me to do. Isn't it? Red Scorpion nodded. Yes, I won't go to your house again. This is great. Ma Pinghai understood what it meant to be dispelled. He had finally escaped the sea of bitterness, and would no longer be controlled by others. Since you're no longer of any use, then die. The calm and relaxed smile on Red Scorpion's face suddenly became bitingly cold and sinister. Without waiting for Ma Pinghai to enjoy this wonderful feeling, he suddenly stood up and grabbed Ma Pinghai's neck with one hand. Ma Pinghai instantly couldn't breathe. His eyes were filled with panic and lost color. He didn't understand why he still had to die after everything he had done. Kacha! The sound of bones breaking rang out from Ma Pinghai's neck. His vision turned black and he lost consciousness. People are really so weak. Red Scorpion's face was filled with grief. There was no disguise at all. He seemed to truly feel grief for Ma Pinghai's death. If it weren't for your phone call being overheard, perhaps I would have already caught the person I was looking for. Therefore you must die. After dealing with Ma Pinghai, Red Scorpion didn't even bother to deal with the corpse. He directly turned and left. In any case, he had more than one murder case on him, and was already wanted by the entire country. Therefore, he didn't care about one more murder case. Even if the police knew that he was the one who killed the person, so what? In any case, Red Scorpion had already decided that after finding Fox Supreme and the Feng family's little princess tonight, he would immediately return to Suang. He had stayed enough in Hudong. There was no meaning in it. The streets were filled with his wanted posters. He was really unhappy that he had to wear a hoodie whenever he went out. After walking out of the forest, Red Scorpion took out something like a phone from his pocket. He quickly located the location of the taxi just now. Immediately after, a silver light flashed. With Red Scorpion's speed, it wasn't too difficult to catch up to a taxi. Therefore, after Qin Wana returned to the medicinal cuisine house, Red Scorpion also appeared downstairs. Red Scorpion coldly laughed and lamented in his heart. This is indeed a very good hiding place. As expected of the Chou Yun. No wonder Feng Qiansui thinks so highly of you. Boss also wants you to join. Chapter 83. When Qin Wana returned, the extremely vigilant Chou Yun had already woken up. What startled Chou Yun was the sound of footsteps landing on the ground. Su Yun hadn't heard Scarlet Scorpion's appearance at all. Perhaps he was distracted by Qin Wana in front of him. Hee, I didn't think that after such a long time, Fox Noble could still be so conscientious. Scarlet Scorpion faintly smiled and lightly said, I really envy Feng Qiansui for having you as a helper. Chou Yun angrily rebuked Scarlet Scorpion's indistinct figure in the darkness ahead. Although she was certain that Scarlet Scorpion would find this place sooner or later, she didn't think it would be so fast. Scarlet Scorpion continued. Who would have thought that you could survive after being hit by the 7 extinction palms? It's simply a miracle. Boss Green Demon has a special liking for you right now. As long as you're willing to pledge allegiance, I believe he won't make things difficult for you. We definitely won't pursue the matter of you killing Gong Yu and the other two. In your dreams. Chou Yun's entire body tensed up. Her gaze didn't dare to leave Scarlet Scorpion. Even if she had to perish together, she absolutely wouldn't retreat half a step. Although Scarlet Scorpion's expression was relaxed, His body didn't relax at all. He was very clear that even if Cho Yun was injured, she was still a first-rate expert. Fox Noble, I've said what I should say. If you don't know how to appreciate favors, then don't blame me for being merciless. Cho Yun coldly laughed. I actually want to see what kind of ability you have. As soon as her voice fell, a silver light appeared in Cho Yun's hand. The flexible sword Dragon Abyss shot out like an arrow straight towards Scarlet Scorpion's face. Scarlet Scorpion had long been prepared for Cho Yun's attack. He suddenly jumped back, directly stepping on the corridor's windowsill. He coldly laughed and suddenly flipped backwards, his entire body gracefully landing on the ground. As soon as Scarlet Scorpion landed, Cho Yun had already jumped out of the window. She didn't want to fight with Scarlet Scorpion in the room for fear of injuring others. Fox Noble, are you sure you want to fight? Scarlet Scorpion coldly laughed. Just now Cho Yun's lightning-fast attack had indeed given him some shock. After all, Green Ghost had personally said that she had been hit by the 7 extinction palms. How could she still have such fast movements? Cho Yun's injuries had already recovered a lot under the care of Su Yun's 9 Revolutions Soul Return pill. Only she knew about this matter. Although she couldn't say that she had fully recovered, she had at least recovered 90% of her strength. Feng Qian Sui's debt. I will slowly settle with you. Cho Yun's body suddenly exploded with murderous intent. A few days ago, when Gong Yu and the other small shrimps came, she couldn't use her power at all. But now it was different. Scarlet Scorpion was startled in his heart. How was this like a person who had been struck by the 7 absolute palms? No wonder those 3 fellows died here. The flexible sword Longyuan was faintly discernible in the night. Longyuan, which contained Cho Yun's biting cold murderous aura, also became extremely cold. It was as if Cho Yun's body was covered with a layer of demonic clothing. This was the power of the top experts in the underground world. Humph! Scarlet Scorpion put away his smiling face. His pair of cold eyes were extremely sharp, like light and lightning. Since you don't want to cooperate, then I have no other choice. 2 top experts suddenly attacked. Their imposing manner was like the Yellow River's water falling from the sky. The flexible sword in Cho Yun's hand was like a silver snake coming out of its hole. Every move was aimed at Scarlet Scorpion's vital points. The sword light left behind marks that were like abstract paintings. Scarlet Scorpion nimbly dodged. Although it looked thrilling, not a single sword hit him. Suddenly, Scarlet Scorpion soared into the air and flipped backwards. Both of his hands suddenly spread open. 2 cold lights directly flew out from his hands. Cho Yun's face was startled. She hurriedly retreated several steps, the Longyuan flexible sword in her hand blocking in front of her body. Scarlet Scorpion's concealed weapon directly hit Cho Yun's sword. With a pa sound, sparks burst out. Cho Yun's face changed. It was a scorpion tail needle. This was Scarlet Scorpion's famous concealed weapon in the underground world. After 49 days of feeding poison, the venom was able to thoroughly soak the poison in the needle. This kind of poison needle's toxicity was no small matter. If it stuck to the skin, it would cause a person to wish for death. If it pierced the skin, it was enough to cause death. If the poison needle pierced the body, there was basically no chance of survival. Fox Venerable, since you don't know how to appreciate favors, I don't need to be polite with you. Scarlet Scorpion's voice was gloomy and cold, as if it came from hell. You really think that because Green Ghost has taken a fancy to your ability, I won't dare to kill you? Although the exchange just now was short, Cho Yun was very clear that she was absolutely not Scarlet Scorpion's opponent. She had already used all of her strength just now, but she was unable to harm Scarlet Scorpion in the slightest. Scarlet Scorpion Tail Needle casually flung out 2 of her Scorpion Tail Needles, and directly forced her all-out attack to retreat. In the blink of an eye, just as Cho Yun was thinking about how to restrain Scarlet Scorpion Tail Needles, Scarlet Scorpion Tail Needle suddenly launched an all-out attack. Scarlet Scorpion Tail Needle's most frightening part was his right leg. That was where he truly launched the Scorpion Tail Needles. Scarlet Scorpion leapt into the air, accompanied by several streaks of cold light flying out. His entire body came crashing down like Mount Tai. Cho Yun was inwardly alarmed. She quickly brandished the dragon's abyss sword in her hand. Several streaks of lightning flashed, and the crisp and chaotic sound of metal colliding caused her to lose track of how many scorpion tail needles she had blocked with her sword. Even so, there were still unblockable poisonous needles that brushed past Cho Yun's ear. In her anxiety, Cho Yun quickly took a step to the left to dodge the remaining scorpion tail needles that she had not blocked. She was very clear that with her ability, even if she fully recovered, it would be very difficult to guarantee that she would be able to dodge all of the scorpion tail needles' attacks. This type of poisonous needle was really too small, and its speed was really too fast. Faced with such a dangerous concealed weapon like the scorpion tail needles, what should she do? Suddenly, a sharp pain came from Cho Yun's left shoulder. She, who was only focused on dodging the scorpion tail needles, was struck by Scarlet Scorpion's internal energy-infused right palm. Her entire body gasped for breath, and she quickly retreated a few steps. Cho Yun, whose meridians were somewhat disordered, tasted something sweet in her mouth, and a mouthful of qi and blood surged up. Umph! Scarlet Scorpion's proud laughter rang out. Everyone knows that my scorpion tail needles are incomparably sinister. Those who are struck by them will either die or be heavily injured. However, you've all overlooked my other martial arts, right? Ha ha ha, Fox Venerable, actually my palm and fist techniques aren't weak either. Cho Yun indeed did not think that Scarlet Scorpion, who specialized in concealed weapons, would have such a fierce palm technique. She secretly regretted it in her heart, but it was all too late now. If she continued to forcefully endure, she would absolutely not be able to withstand 20 moves from Scarlet Scorpion. But even if you know now, it's useless, because you'll immediately become a dead person. Scarlet Scorpion suddenly pressed forward again, and his fist and palm mixed with the sound of wind directly attacked Cho Yun's face. Cho Yun forcefully suppressed a mouthful of qi and blood, and repeatedly retreated to dodge. The flexible sword in her hand, Dragon Abyss, also rapidly brandished. Although she was at a disadvantage, Cho Yun still did not give up on attacking. However, Scarlet Scorpion's offensive was like a tide that became increasingly fierce. Every time Scarlet Scorpion lifted his right foot, it would be accompanied by several scorpion tail needles flying out. Cho Yun could only dodge in time, but there were still poison needles that grazed her skin. At this time, Cho Yun already did not have the energy to think about her own life or death. She did not care about her own life or death, but she cared about Guoguo's fate. Boom. In order to dodge the poison needles, Cho Yun's chest was struck again by a palm. Her entire body rapidly retreated, and her footprints drew a dark mark on the ground. Cho Yun told herself that she absolutely could not fall. Once she fell, she would become Scarlet Scorpion's needle target. She would directly be shot into dice by the scorpion tail needles. Only one thought flashed through Cho Yun's mind. Su Yun, what in the world are you doing? Cho Yun used all her strength to once again dodge more than 10 scorpion tail needles. Following that, her body took another punch. Her hand loosened, and the Dragon Abyss flexible sword fell to the ground with a clang. This time, she really could not hold on any longer. A mouthful of blood rushed to her heart, and she directly spat it out. People who practice martial arts all understood that once they were unable to suppress this mouthful of blood, they would suffer a crushing defeat. Cho Yun's body had already been scratched countless times by the scorpion tail needles. The poison gas had already begun to invade her body. For her to be able to hold on until now was already something that an extraordinary person could do. Finally, Cho Yun's legs went soft, and she was no longer able to support her body. Scarlet Scorpion coldly laughed. So the violent Fox Venerable is only SOSO. Seeing that you're considered a top figure in the underground world, I'll give you a quick death today. As he spoke, Scarlet Scorpion suddenly leapt into the air. His entire body somersaulted, and he suddenly raised his right leg high and shouted, "Dense silver needles!" Cho Yun quietly closed her eyes. She was very clear that this move from Scarlet Scorpion tail needles would directly turn her into a die. If she died, then she died. Cho Yun only hoped that Guoguo would be able to avoid this calamity. Su Yun, I believe in you. Su Yun blankly stood naked in the bathtub. He looked at Qin Wan who had just clashed with him and was wrapped in a bath towel. His head was covered in cold sweat. Can you give me the clothes? Qin Wan'er's eyes were filled with killing intent. Just give me the pants is also fine. Suyin once again probed. Qin Wan'er was still glaring at Suyin. What about the underwear? Suyin was about to cry. He could not get up naked, right? Qin Wan'er gnashed her teeth and said, Suyin, you pervert. I will definitely not forgive you. Can we settle this matter tomorrow? Suyin was speechless. There is a guest outside. Moreover, it is the wanted criminal that you have been dreaming of catching. What? Qin Wan'er's eyes that were filled with hatred suddenly became dazed. Suyin said with a serious face, I swear, I did not guess wrong. Why would that person come here to cause trouble for Cho Yun? Qin Wan'er's face was filled with questions. Moreover, why was Suyin so sure? Can you give me the pants first? Suyin once again made a request. If you don't want to give it to me, then can you not keep staring at me? I also feel shy. Hey, do you think I want to look at you? Qin Wan'er almost vomited blood. She quickly turned her head away. Damn Suyin. No matter what, Qin Wan'er decided to go back and put on some clothes to see who was outside. Whether it was the S-class wanted criminal or not, Qin Wan'er would not let go of this kind of thief who sneaked into someone's house in the middle of the night. Moreover, she also wanted to take this opportunity to understand who Cho Yun was, and why she had so many enemies. Qin Wan'er had just stepped out when Suyin immediately got out of the shower. He did not have time to wipe his body. He directly put on the pants and rushed out. Suyin was very clear about how dangerous Red Scorpion was. He was also very clear about how dangerous Cho Yun, who had not yet recovered from her serious injuries, was. Just when Red Scorpion was about to attack Cho Yun with his silver needles, Suyin jumped out of the window like lightning. His fist was filled with a biting cold air, and smashed onto Red Scorpion's right leg. Boom. Chapter 84. Scarlet Scorpion crouched in front of the uprooted willow tree that had fallen to the ground. His face was gloomy. Just now his right foot was about to turn Cho Yun into a hedgehog, but the 100 scorpion tail needles had all been deflected to some unknown place. This unexpected interruption caused Scarlet Scorpion's heart to be filled with a myriad of suspicions. Just now the inner strength of that fist was extremely profound. It was definitely not the work of an ordinary first-rate expert. Clearly, it had already reached the pinnacle of first-rate experts. Only now did Scarlet Scorpion understand why Cho Yun could survive after being hit by Green Demon's 7 deadly palms. Only now did he realize why Goshawk, Gongyu, and the others died without a sound. It turned out that this tiny Hadong City's medicinal cuisine store was actually hiding such an expert. Clearly, Cho Yun's injury being able to heal was also related to this person. Cho Yun, who had already prepared herself to face death, had already closed her eyes. After hearing the sound of the willow tree falling to the ground, she fiercely opened her eyes. Her heart trembled. As expected, Suyin still stood out. Suyin wore slippers and stood unarmed between Scarlet Scorpion and Cho Yun. His hair was dripping with water that he hadn't had time to wipe off. The water on his body quickly soaked through the beach pants he had temporarily put on. However, Suyun's gaze was very resolute. He coldly stared at Scarlet Scorpion who was crouching by the roots of the tree. He didn't relax his vigilance in the slightest because of the successful strike just now. Scarlet Scorpion suddenly pulled down his clothes over his head. Under the moonlight, his dark red hair revealed a trace of strangeness. His eyes flashed with a sinister expression. He was clearly enraged. Scarlet Scorpion. 5 years ago, you killed the Northwest Wolf King, shocking the underground world. 3 years ago, you became Green Demon's subordinate and became Green Demon's #1 expert. In the underground world, more than 10 first-rate experts have already lost their lives to your scorpion tail needles. You even provoked a jailbreak that shocked the entire country. You forcibly rescued a serious criminal from the hands of the police. Suyin coldly laughed. He had heard quite a few rumors about this poisonous scorpion. Scarlet Scorpion, who was crouching on the ground, suddenly stood up. You know quite a lot of things. Obviously, Cho Yun was surprised by Su Yun's words. But has anyone ever told you that the more you know, the earlier you die? Crimson Scorpion's killing intent contained a baleful aura that instantly exploded out from within his body, like the might of 10,000 horses galloping toward Su Yun. At almost the same time, Su Yun also erupted with a murderous intent that was brimming with hostility. It was as if he could topple mountains and overturn seas as he welcomed Scarlet Scorpion's murderous aura that was brimming with a baleful aura. The transformation of the two seemed to have startled the heaven and earth. A wisp of dark clouds covered the originally weak moonlight, and the entire medicinal cuisine restaurant was plunged into darkness. Whoosh! Whoosh! A few scorpion tail needles silently shot toward Su Yun's face in the dark, bringing with them a sharp gust of wind. Su Yun's feet treaded on the waves as he mysteriously relied on the sound of the wind to dodge Scarlet Scorpion's concealed weapons. He turned around and sternly yelled at Cho Yun, "Return to the room." With Cho Yun's current condition, it was clearly not possible for her to dodge Scarlet Scorpion's rapidly shooting concealed weapons. Su Yun, who was preparing for battle with all his might, did not have the energy to spare to protect Cho Yun. Even though Cho Yun was also the Grand Underground World's violent fox venerable, with her current condition, leaving the battlefield would be the greatest help she could provide to Su Yun. If she stayed, she would only be a burden to Su Yun. Cho Yun understood Su Yun's meaning, so she did not waste any time. Her entire body leapt into the air, directly jumping back to the second floor of the medicinal cuisine restaurant, and returning to the room. How could Scarlet Scorpion let go of Cho Yun, who had just been forced into a desperate situation by him? With a wave of his hand, several cold glints followed closely behind Cho Yun as they flew towards the second floor's window. Qinwan who had just put on her clothes and rushed out of the room, happened to see the scene of Cho Yun flying up the stairs. She rubbed her eyes with all her strength, suspecting that her eyes were playing tricks on her. Qinwan quickly ran to Cho Yun's side, wanting to know what had happened outside. "Get down." Cho Yun's feet had just touched the ground when she pressed down on the running Qinwan to the ground. With a burst of crackling sounds, the second floor's corridor window shattered with a whoosh. One could imagine just how powerful the scorpion tail needles in Scarlet Scorpion tail needles were. Using needles to shatter glass was not an easy matter. Qinwan's face was filled with astonishment. Just what had happened downstairs? "Scarlet Scorpion, your opponent is me. What kind of man are you to bully a woman?" Su Yun's voice came from outside the window. "I don't care what your goal is. If you want to accomplish it, you have to kill me first." Soon after, Scarlet Scorpion's cold voice also came in. "All right, then let me see just how powerful Fox Venerable's backer is." Qinwan opened her eyes wide and said to Cho Yun, "When did Su Yun go down?" Cho Yun's face was pale. Just as she was about to open her mouth, she spat out a mouthful of blood. "What happened to you?" This time, Qinwan was scared to death. She had never seen such a situation before. Cho Yun only then felt a piercing pain in her right chest. She was startled. Sure enough, the scorpion tail needles had directly pierced her body. It seemed that this time, it would be difficult for her to escape. "Su Yun, the rest depends on you." Cho Yun did not have anyone she could trust. She only hoped that Su Yun could hold on, and then leave with Guogua. The further the better. "Waner." Cho Yun called out Qinwan's name for the first time. Qinwan was startled. She was really not used to it. "What happened to you? I'll send you to the hospital." Cho Yun grabbed Qinwan's hand. "It's no use. I just want to ask you for a favor. You have to help me. Just tell me what you want me to do. I will help you if I can." Qinwan nodded. She now felt that only by sending Cho Yun to the hospital could she help her. "There is a card bag in the drawer of my room. Tomorrow, please help me give the card inside to Guogua. The password is her birthday." "Thank you." Cho Yun was getting weaker and weaker. The scorpion tail needles that had been soaked in the venom for 49 days were really poisonous. They quickly invaded Cho Yun's heart and lungs. Qinwan's eyes suddenly became dull. "What did you say?" "This. Can't you just give it to her yourself?" Cho Yun showed a calm smile for the first time. "I'm afraid that I won't be able to survive tomorrow. Waner, please help me." Help me tell Su Yin to take good care of Guogua. It's best to take her far away. This place, sooner or later, he won't be able to protect it. Qin Wen'er was really scared. What are you talking about? I don't understand. Chou Yun, don't scare me, okay? If you don't feel well, I'll take you to the hospital now. You. Don't scare me like this. Don't joke, okay? Don't lie to me. I'm very timid. I'm not lying to you. Chou Yun tried to hold back the blood that was surging up again. Promise me. What do I promise you? I won't let you die. Qin Wen'er shook her head hard. Although Chou Yun had always been indifferent to her, and she had always been afraid of Chou Yun, after all, they had lived together for many days. More or less, they had feelings for each other. Chou Yun couldn't help but vomit blood again. She had no strength to speak again. Qin Wen'er was dumbfounded. She crazily climbed to the window and wanted to call Su Yin for help, but the scene in front of her completely shocked her. With a glance, she recognized that the person confronting Su Yin was indeed the man on the wanted poster. The two of them confronted each other like a magnificent army with thousands of men and horses. Every time Su Yin punched, his momentum was majestic and thunderous, and Scarlet Scorpion was absolutely not below Su Yin. The two of them exchanged more than 10 moves in an instant. Their fists collided, and they both retreated a few steps. Su Yin still calmed his breathing. He secretly adjusted his meridians, blood, and state of mind. During the process of fighting with Scarlet Scorpion, he had been completely focused. He didn't dare to be distracted in the slightest, but he didn't expect that it could only be considered a draw. Scarlet Scorpion looked at the person in front of him with astonishment. He didn't look down on Su Yin. After all, Su Yin was able to send him flying when he wanted to end Chou Yun's life. He was absolutely a first-rate expert. However, Scarlet Scorpion didn't expect that this person's skill was actually much higher than Chou Yun's. At least, he didn't gain any advantage. The two of them calmed down, and Su Yin could clearly hear his own heartbeat. Scarlet Scorpion's entire body suddenly crouched on the ground. His right leg was raised behind him, and he was like a poisonous scorpion ready to attack at any time. He had completely entered an attacking state. Su Yin was very clear that this was Scarlet Scorpion's true terror. The power of the scorpion tail needle shot out from his right leg was far superior to those shot out from his hands in terms of speed and strength. Seeing Scarlet Scorpion's state, Su Yin didn't dare to be the slightest bit negligent. Sure enough, as expected, Scarlet Scorpion's body curled up into a ball on the ground before suddenly exploding. The densely packed needles madly shot toward Su Yin like a torrential rain. Su Yin was greatly alarmed. This kind of inescapable net attack was truly terrifying. His figure dodged behind a willow tree by the roadside. Even though his footwork was exquisite, the skin on his right arm was still cut by a few scorpion tail needles. That kind of extraordinary stinging pain made Su Yin clearly realize just how powerful the poison of these scorpion tail needles was. This guy was truly a thorny fellow. Scarlet Scorpion sneered. I'm very surprised that you were able to escape my dense silver needles. However, I'll also tell you that no one has ever been able to escape my torrential storm of pear blossoms. Scarlet Scorpion, isn't such a beautiful name being used by you really, Sullied? Su Yin sneered from behind the willow tree. I actually want to see just how many scorpion tail needles you have that you can use. Ha ha ha. Scarlet Scorpion faced the sky and laughed. Then I'll tell you. Scorpion tail needles are as thin as hair. I have over 100 million of them on my body. Right now, I've only used a single hair from 9 oxen. You want to use the method of exhausting my scorpion tail needles to win? Ha ha ha, you're simply daydreaming. Over 100 million needles? F***CK. Are you a mother **king needle seller? Su Yin almost wanted to curse out loud. This guy was truly a grandson. Su Yin sucked in a breath of cold air. It seemed that if he didn't put in a bit more effort, he would have fallen into this guy's hands today. He lowered his head and looked at the flip-flops on his feet. Wearing these things in a fight was truly too disadvantageous. Scarlet Scorpion concentrated all of his attention on the willow tree Su Yin was hiding in. As long as Su Yin came out, his torrential storm of pear blossoms would definitely turn him into a hedgehog. Suddenly, 2 streaks of white light appeared. Scarlet Scorpion's right leg swept out without the slightest hesitation. The densely packed scorpion tail needles firmly nailed the two flip-flops to the tree. Su-Yun suddenly jumped down from the top of the tree and ruthlessly kicked Scarlet Scorpion, who was attached to the ground. Scarlet Scorpion was shocked and quickly turned around to dodge. However, he was still a step too late. Su-Yun's heavy kick ruthlessly smashed into Scarlet Scorpion's left chest. But at the same time, Scarlet Scorpion didn't hold back. Several streaks of cold light directly shot towards Su-Yun's face. Su-Yun quickly dodged to the side and was struck in the middle of his back by Scarlet Scorpion's heavy palm. The two of them once again retreated a few steps. Scarlet Scorpion couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of pus and blood. Su-Yun clearly didn't have the upper hand. Although he forcefully endured, a trace of blood still flowed out from the corner of his mouth. Chapter 85. What a heavy palm. Su-Yun was indeed somewhat careless. Because Scarlet Scorpion's scorpion tail needle had attracted too much of his defensive attention, Su-Yun had neglected Scarlet Scorpion's martial arts. After all, Scarlet Scorpion was a first-rate expert. His fists and palms contained enough internal energy to shatter stone powder. Scarlet Scorpion's chest had taken Su-Yun's kick, so his situation was clearly very bad. His gasping for breath was much heavier. Scarlet Scorpion had never thought that the guy in front of him would use two slippers as bait and actually attack from the top of his head. Who the hell are you? Scarlet Scorpion stared at Su-Yun with rapt attention. An expert of this level would certainly have a resounding reputation in the underground world. But how come he had never seen this person before? Could it be that he was Feng Qiansui's hidden secret weapon? If you can beat me, then it won't be too late for me to tell you. Unfortunately, I won't give you this opportunity. Su-Yun took advantage of Scarlet Scorpion's gasping for breath to quickly adjust his meridians and blood. After all, he was still an experienced pharmacist and knew how to adjust his condition to its peak at any time. Scarlet Scorpion's eyes flashed with a cold light. Isn't it a bit early to talk big? Do you really think my scorpion tail needle is that easy to deal with? The instant his voice fell, Scarlet Scorpion's body once again crouched on the ground and shrunk. The instant his body suddenly exploded, countless cold rays shot into the sky from his raised right leg without any pattern. Su-Yun wrinkled his eyebrows. Could it be that his kick just now had already caused that guy's most basic accuracy to be lost? Sky-covering needle rain. Scarlet Scorpion sneered, and his entire body suddenly retreated at high speed. Not good. Su-Yun secretly said in his heart. He raised his head, and just as the moonlight that had been blocked by the dark clouds revealed itself, a sky full of silver light directly poured down from the sky. It was simply an inescapable net of attacks. Su-Yun didn't have the time to think too much. Beneath his feet, swimming dragon-treading waves, he nimbly dodged to the back. If he couldn't dodge this, then he would directly become a hedgehog. Could it be that this bastard's body really had that many poisonous needles? With this dodge, Su-Yun immediately retreated more than 20 meters. He was inwardly shocked by the large attack range. Soon, the left arm that was grazed by the scorpion tail needle felt a faint stinging pain again. Su-Yun could not help but frown. He was a little worried about Cho-Yun. Even he could not guarantee that he would not be injured, let alone Cho-Yun. Su-Yun was worried that Cho-Yun had also been hit by the scorpion tail needle. Su-Yun felt that the poison on the scorpion tail needle was very strong. If it was not treated in time, it could easily be life-threatening. No matter what, he had to end the battle quickly. Even though Su-Yun didn't know about Cho-Yun's condition, he was very clear that Cho-Yun already had almost no combat strength left. Therefore, it was very likely that she had already been struck by the scorpion tail needle. He was very clear that the longer he dragged on his battle with Scarlet Scorpion, the more disadvantageous it would be for him. Su-Yun's biting cold gaze looked at Scarlet Scorpion, who was 30 meters away from him. Su-Yun, who had not killed for a long time, finally had the intention to kill. As long as he could break Scarlet Scorpion's right leg, there would be no suspense in this battle. Boom. Su-Yun struck first to gain the initiative. He gathered strength under his feet and shot out. His entire person charged towards Scarlet Scorpion like a hot knife through butter. Scarlet Scorpion was not someone who would sit and wait for orders. Even though the rain of needles just now did not injure Su Yun, it gave him enough time to adjust his meridians and blood. Scarlet Scorpion, who had basically recovered, met the attack without hesitation. The two people's fists and palms collided. At this time, they were competing purely on inner strength. From the very beginning, Su Yun had focused on the aura and inner strength. Shizuan had said that inner strength was the foundation of all fist techniques. A fist without inner strength was no different from cotton. Furthermore, Su Yun liked to study medicinal theory. He had concocted many medicinal pills to recuperate inner strength. Therefore, in terms of inner strength, Su Yun had never lost to an expert of the same realm as himself. Now, he naturally believed that he would not lose to Scarlet Scorpion. As expected, 2 waves of inner strength exploded between the two of them. Scarlet Scorpion's heart surged. So strong. This guy's inner strength was definitely at the peak of first-rate experts. In order to ensure that he did not receive more damage, Scarlet Scorpion hurriedly withdrew his inner strength and quickly retreated. How could Su Yun give him the chance? He pressed forward step by step. In his panic, Scarlet Scorpion directly raised his leg and threw out his scorpion tail needles. At such a close distance, Su Yun naturally would not miss the chance. He split his palm to block Scarlet Scorpion's attack. His right fist gathered strength and suddenly shot out like a bullet. It was as fast as lightning, and it directly hit Scarlet Scorpion's right leg. A wave of intense pain directly traveled from Scarlet Scorpion's leg to the nerves above his head. Scarlet Scorpion completely disregarded his image and awkwardly fled several meters away. Using both his hands and feet, he simultaneously shot out hundreds of scorpion tail needles. Only then was he barely able to seal off Su Yun's pressing footsteps. Su Yun's attack was very clear. As long as he broke Scarlet Scorpion's right leg, it was equivalent to twisting the scorpion's tail off. Without waiting for Su Yun to continue forward, Scarlet Scorpion once again used the sky full of needles rain. The experienced Su Yun quickly retreated. He had already figured out the attack range of the sky full of needles rain, so he easily escaped to a distance of 20 meters away. The pitter-patter of silver needles once again shot into the ground. Even the roots did not penetrate. It's useless. Su Yun's smile carried a bit of provocation. After figuring out Scarlet Scorpion's attacks and weak points, he was completely confident that he could quickly finish off his opponent in the next battle. However, Scarlet Scorpion coldly laughed. He suddenly fished out a black and white medicinal pill from his inner pocket. Facing Su Yun's gaze, he directly threw the medicinal pill into his mouth. Su Yun stared blankly. Did this guy catch a cold? How did he even eat white and black? That's not right. If he caught a cold, then he should be eating black pills at night. What was that black and white thing? Su Yun's mind quickly filtered through. Suddenly he was startled. Could it be that Scarlet Scorpion had eaten a forbidden medicine, the Yin Yang pill? That was a forbidden medicine that could instantly raise a person's state of mind and combat strength by a level. It was named the Yin Yang pill because this kind of thing was truly terrifying. It was completely a medicinal pill that shortened one's lifespan. However, its effects were undeniable. If a second-rate expert were to eat it, their strength would directly reach the realm of a first-rate expert. And if a first-rate expert were to eat it, their strength would directly reach the realm of a super expert. Obtaining an increase in strength naturally came with a price. If it was light, it would shorten one's lifespan. If it was heavy, it would result in death. Therefore, the Yin Yang pill was directly classified as a forbidden medicine. The reason this thing had always existed in the underground world was entirely because of its profits. This kind of expensive thing was not something an average person could afford. Su Yun would never have thought that Scarlet Scorpion would use this kind of method to kill 1,000 enemies, but he was very clear in his heart that it was impossible for him to win against a super expert. Even if it was a pseudo-super expert under the influence of a forbidden medicine, he would absolutely not be able to defeat him. Scarlet Scorpion's body suddenly shot out. In the blink of an eye, he had already arrived in front of Su Yun. Su Yun was caught unprepared. He had never thought that Scarlet Scorpion's speed would increase to such a terrifying degree after eating the Yin Yang pill. Boom. A solid thunderbolt directly struck Su Yun's left chest. Su Yun's originally regulated and stable meridians were once again in turmoil. His heart rolled, and his entire body flew out like a kite with its string cut. A mouthful of pus and blood spurted out from his mouth. This kind of difference in strength was like the difference between heaven and earth. Su Yun had absolutely no possibility of counterattacking. Without waiting for Su Yun's body to hit the ground, Scarlet Scorpion had already swept a leg over. Su Yun's entire body was swept away by the swift and fierce force of the kick, and flew out over 10 meters. He forcibly smashed into another thick willow tree and fell to the ground. The dark clouds that had covered the moonlight completely dispersed. Scarlet Scorpion stood under the moonlight and looked at Su Yun lying on the ground in front of him. He coldly laughed. "You are the first person who can force me to take medicine." Hearing the enormous noise, Qin Wan'er once again leaned on the windowsill. She looked at the scene in front of her with astonishment. Su Yun was lying on the ground with a trace of fresh blood hanging from the corner of his mouth. The enormous willow tree was pressing down on his leg. Scarlet Scorpion stood in front of Su Yun, his entire body emitting an invincible aura. Scarlet Scorpion suddenly turned his head to look at the windowsill on the second floor of the medicinal cuisine house. A pair of sinister eyes met Qin Wan'er's 4 eyes. Qin Wan'er's entire body went limp. Only at this moment did she completely understand why Su Yun had repeatedly emphasized not to provoke this wanted criminal. It was because with just this kind of savage gaze, Qin Wan'er had been defeated. Her entire body was unable to move according to her own control of any matter. A black shadow flashed, and Scarlet Scorpion had already leapt onto the windowsill. He looked at the little policewoman sitting paralyzed on the ground in the room, as well as Cho Yun, who had already been tormented by the poison of the scorpion tail. A strong sense of accomplishment suddenly rose in his heart. "Hand over the little girl, and I won't kill you," Scarlet Scorpion said to Qin Wan. A cruel smile hung at the corner of his mouth. Qin Wan'er actually didn't know how to resist under the powerful pressure of his aura. Su Yun closed his eyes. Even his breathing had stopped. He hadn't thought that he would be able to survive. According to normal circumstances, it was simply impossible for him to withstand Scarlet Scorpion's all-out attack. But now he was very certain that he was still alive. He was alive only because he had to be alive. If he died, he wouldn't be able to protect anyone. He wouldn't be able to protect anyone. Su Yun didn't want to lose anyone by his side. The scene of Yinlong's tragic death once again assaulted his mind. Su Yun wouldn't allow anyone to harm the people he wanted to protect. The instant Yinlong's smile appeared in Su Yun's mind, Su Yun suddenly pushed away the willow tree that was pressing down on him and stood up. He was no longer able to control the heart demon that had been suppressed in the depths of his body. The heart demon suddenly erupted. Scarlet Scorpion, who had already leapt onto the second floor of the medicinal cuisine house, heard the noise from downstairs. His entire person was stunned. He turned his head and looked at the standing Su Yun with an astonished expression. Wasn't he already dead a moment ago? How could a person who wasn't even breathing stand up? Scarlet Scorpion's eyes were filled with inconceivable amazement. Impossible, absolutely impossible. He didn't believe it. Scarlet Scorpion, I'll say it one more time. Your opponent is me. The corner of Su Yun's mouth, which was stained with blood, faintly raised an evil and cold aura. The biting cold light in his eyes was as if he was possessed by the god of death, brimming with chilliness. Impossible. Scarlet Scorpion's pupils suddenly enlarged by several times. His figure flashed again, and directly leapt out of the medicinal cuisine house. The shape of his palm changed. His 5 fingers formed a claw as he grabbed at Su Yun's face. The yin-yang pill allowed Scarlet Scorpion's speed to increase substantially. He believed that Su Yun absolutely couldn't dodge this attack of his. However, the situation was completely unexpected. Scarlet Scorpion's claw completely grasped empty air. Immediately after, a burst of unbearable pain came from his chest. The instant Su Yun dodged, he had already sent out a swift and fierce punch, striking Scarlet Scorpion's heart. The instant Scarlet Scorpion was blasted flying, his eyes still flashed with disbelief. After eating the yin-yang pill, his strength had already increased to the realm of a super expert. How could he be hit by a first-rate expert who couldn't even withstand a single blow? Clang! Scarlet Scorpion's body heavily fell to the ground. The corner of his mouth flowed with scarlet blood. Chapter 86. The evil aura emitted from Su-Yun's body was completely bestowed upon him by his heart devil. However, where there is a loss, there is a gain. Su-Yun never thought that the sudden eruption of his heart devil would actually forcefully break through his loosened mental state. Su-Yun had already stepped into the ranks of first-rate experts for many years. He still remembered what his master had told him at that time. If he was unable to eliminate his heart devil, then it was possible that he would never be able to break through his mental state for the rest of his life. He would forever be a peak expert among first-rate experts and would never be able to break through into the ranks of super experts. Even if his master came, he wouldn't dare to believe that the eruption of his heart devil could help Su-Yun break through his mental state, right? Su-Yun felt the sensation of his entire body's acupoints being connected. It was too wonderful for words. His body had completely reached another level. It was as if all of his internal energy had transformed into a faint true qi, protecting his entire body within the true qi. Su-Yun had heard his master say that once his internal energy could transform into a true qi protecting his body, then it would mean that he had stepped into the ranks of super experts. Just now, when Scarlet Scorpion had used the forbidden medicine and punched him, Su-Yun realized that he was powerless to reverse the desperate situation. The grief of being unable to protect his protector made Su-Yun recall Yinlong's tragic death. In that instant, the eruption of his heart devil directly broke through Su-Yun's mental state. In the instant that Scarlet Scorpion's fist hit Su-Yun's chest, Su-Yun's suddenly transformed internal energy completely protected his heart. This could be considered to have saved his little life. Breakthrough. In a situation that Su-Yun had never imagined, he had actually broken through his mental state and stepped into the realm of super experts. If it wasn't for today's battle, perhaps Su-Yun wouldn't know how long he would have to wait to break through his mental state. Scarlet Scorpion also didn't dare to believe that the guy before his eyes could actually break through his mental state in the middle of a battle. Just now, the true qi in that fist was like a sharp knife piercing his chest. Because Scarlet Scorpion relied on drugs to reach the realm of super experts, he didn't have a genuine true qi protecting his body. Just now, Su-Yun's fist was truly enough to make him suffer. Su-Yun sneered. Thanks to you, I really have to thank you. Scarlet Scorpion struggled to stand up and spat out a mouthful of blood. Humph. You don't have to be so polite. I actually want to see what level a super expert who has just broken through the heart realm is at. It was clear that Scarlet Scorpion's expression had already betrayed him. Although he was stubborn, he was also very clear on what kind of concept a super expert was. He had not broken through the mental state of a super expert for a full 10 years. Until now, he could only rely on the yin-yang pill to vaguely sense what kind of state a super expert was in. Under the burning rage and jealousy, Scarlet Scorpion actually did something even more insane. He actually swallowed another yin-yang pill. The stimulation of the drug made him forget the pain in his heart and lungs, and he stood up again. What a lunatic! Su-Yun knew that he would definitely not lose this battle. According to the medicinal principle of the yin-yang pill, it was an extremely abnormal stimulant. It used drugs to stimulate the blood flow of the body to produce an effect of excitement. However, this was the same principle as taking drugs. The side effects of taking one pill were already very obvious. If he were to continuously take 2 pills, it would be no different from a drug addict continuously injecting himself. The excessive medicinal strength would be enough to take his life. You really are a lunatic. Su-Yun's entire body's true qi rose. Facing this guy who had consecutively swallowed 2 yin-yang pills, he did not dare to be careless. Scarlet Scorpion sneered. Humph. Even if I die, I will definitely drag you down with me. Then let's try it. Su-Yun suddenly attacked. The wind from his fist was swift and fierce as it attacked Scarlet Scorpion. How could Scarlet Scorpion, who had already entered the demonic state, have any misgivings about Su-Yun's fist? He did not have the slightest intention of dodging. Instead, He took the risk of being hit by Su Yun and directly struck a palm toward Su Yun. It was a method of mutual destruction. With a bang, the two people retreated one after another. Su Yun relied on his true qi to protect his body, and only then was he able to withstand this vigorous palm strike. Scarlet Scorpion was afraid that he would not be so lucky. The yin-yang pill could increase his true qi, but it was impossible for it to transform his true qi to protect his body. The strength of Su Yun's fist thoroughly penetrated his heart and lungs. The feeling of his heart being hollowed out made Scarlet Scorpion finally see the Grim Reaper. "Remember, this brother is called Su Yun," Su Yun coldly said. With a crash, Scarlet Scorpion's knees fell to the ground. He directly fell to the ground and did not move an inch. He knew that he had been thoroughly defeated. The side effects of the yin-yang pill also began to corrode Scarlet Scorpion's body. He suddenly curled up into a ball. His entire body painfully emitted a cruel groan. His meridians were in chaos, and he could no longer endure the corrosion of the yin-yang pill. His body's muscles ruptured one after another. This kind of pain was not something that a person could endure. Haha! Scarlet Scorpion let out a cold laugh amidst the pain. "Even if I die, the Fox Venerable will be buried with me. I won't lose out. Ha ha ha." Su Yun's left arm that had been grazed by the scorpion's stinger emitted bursts of pain. He suddenly thought that Cho Yun's current situation might be extremely dangerous. The current Scarlet Scorpion did not even have the ability to walk on his own. He could only be a cripple waiting for death. Therefore, Su Yun simply did not need to pay attention to him. Su Yun exerted strength in his legs and directly leapt to the second floor of the medicinal cuisine house. The sound of the fight just now did not wake up the sleeping Wan Qingshuang and Guogua. However, it had completely scared Qin Wan'er silly. Qin Wan'er saw Su Yun appear and it was as if she had seen a ghost. "You're still alive? Cough, why are you so eager for me to die?" Su Yun was speechless. He had just escaped from death, and Qin Wan'er had sent him such a sentence. Qin Wan'er did not have time to banter with Su Yun. She frantically pointed at Cho Yun. "Cho Yun, she, it seems like she can't make it." Su Yun's expression changed. Cho Yun, who was lying on the ground, was already on the verge of death. He was afraid that if they did not save her, there would be no way to save her. Su Yun picked up Cho Yun and said to Qin Wan'er, "Bring the backpack from under the bed in my room." As he spoke, he had already rushed to Cho Yun's room. Qin Wan'er was stunned for a moment. Her brain was completely mechanically following Su Yun's arrangement. She quickly went to Su Yun's room, took his backpack, and ran to Cho Yun's room. Qin Wan'er was dumbfounded as soon as she entered Cho Yun's room. Su Yun actually tore off Cho Yun's clothes directly. The pink and white girl was directly exposed to the air without any cover. Su Yun's eyebrows were completely knitted together. What a serious injury. Cho Yun's body had been scratched hundreds of times by the scorpion tail needle. He did not have the time to consider the difference between men and women, nor did he have the time to explain to Qin Wan'er. "Get a bowl of water. There is a gold coin grass downstairs in the kitchen. Bring it up for me. Quick." Qin Wan'er put down Su Yun's backpack and rushed downstairs to the kitchen without thinking. She had learned a lot of new things from working for Su Yun in the kitchen. Of course, she knew the gold coin grass. Su Yun poured out all the bottles in the backpack and quickly identified a box of 10,000 poison ointment. He directly smeared the ointment on Cho Yun's body that had been scratched by the scorpion tail needle. He also smeared some on his left arm that had been scratched by the scorpion tail needle. The 10,000 poison ointment could cure all kinds of poisons. Although Su Yun had not used it before, he could only take a gamble at this time. Obviously, he felt that he had made the right bet. At least the pain on his left arm had begun to ease. At this time, Qin Wan'er also ran up with water and gold coin grass. Su Yun unceremoniously stuffed the gold coin grass into Cho Yun's mouth and picked up the water to feed her. "Drink it." Although gold coin grass was a very common Chinese medicine, it was indeed extraordinary in detoxification. Perhaps there was no meaning in taking it alone, but Su Yun thought that it was the most effective Chinese medicine to be taken orally with the external application of the 10,000 poison ointment. The medicine was mild and would not stimulate the poisoned person again. After all, The principle of the 10,000 poison ointment was to treat poison with poison. Cho Yun almost used all her strength to speak. It's useless. I'm not just scratched by the scorpion tail needle. As expected, Soo-yun should have already confirmed the fact that Cho Yun had been poisoned. Without saying a word, he helped Cho Yun up. First, he took out a 9 revolutions revival elixir, and let her swallow it to protect her body. Then, he sank his chi into his dantian, and circulated a stream of genuine chi to slowly push it into the Shundao acupoint on Cho Yun's back. Cho Yun only felt a stream of heat flow from her dantian to the bottom of the sea. A stream of inner chi broke through the 3 gates, and rose to the Baihui acupoint on the top of her head. In the blink of an eye, it converged into a stream and naturally flowed down. Cho Yun only felt as if a basin of cold water had been poured over her head. The cool air flowed along the midline of her palate and into the tip of her tongue. Suddenly, her mouth was full of sweetness. The originally chaotic meridians gradually became clear. Cho Yun only felt the sweetness in her mouth descend into her heart. She could already clearly hear Soo-yun's breathing beside her ear. Immediately, a stream of genuine chi flowed into her 5 viscera and 6 bowels. Finally, it descended into Cho Yun's dantian. The hot and cold streams converged in her dantian. Cho Yun only felt her entire body comfortable. Soo-yun's genuine chi steamed into her 4 limbs and hundreds of bones. Suddenly, Cho Yun felt a sharp pain in the right side of her chest. With a whoosh, the scorpion tail needle that Scarlet Scorpion had shot into her chest was directly forced out by Soo-yun's genuine chi. It bounced against the door cover and directly sank into it. At this moment, Cho Yun suddenly felt a stream of genuine chi and blood that she could no longer suppress. It surged up from the bottom of her heart. She vomited a mouthful of nearly black blood. Qin Won'er was stupefied. This isn't a movie, right? Damn. This is simply a real-life version of Jing Ji treating Huang Rong's injuries. Soo-yun's forehead was unceasingly sweating. He had just stepped into the realm of super expert, and had already used his genuine chi to do such a dangerous thing. It was indeed somewhat unbearable for his body. Fortunately, he was still able to force the poison needle out. This showed that his genuine chi had not been wasted. Water. Soo-yun also felt a little weak. Qin Won'er hurriedly handed the water to Soo-yun. Soo-yun gulped it down. After wiping the cold sweat on his forehead, he quickly let Cho Yun take the golden coin grass. He also swallowed the golden coin grass. Immediately after, he rummaged through a pile of bottles and jars and took out a small purple bottle. He poured out a chi-gathering pill and swallowed it. The chi-gathering pill was his own experimental medicine. It was used to consolidate his genuine chi. Because only super experts and above could have the so-called genuine chi, Soo-yun had never taken it before. But today he chose to believe in himself. If he did not consolidate his genuine chi in time, he was afraid that today he would die even earlier than Cho Yun. Under the protection of the 9 revolutions soul return pill, Cho Yun withstood the violent detoxification feeling of the myriad poison cream. She began to sit cross-legged and adjust her meridians. Soo-yun knew that Cho Yun had narrowly escaped death. He also calmed down and breathed in and out, feeling the genuine chi in his body. With the chi-gathering pill, the remaining genuine chi was enough to help Soo-yun adjust his breath and meridians faster. Chapter 87. How could Qin Won'er know what the two of them were doing? She suddenly realized that the person who had injured Soo-yun and Cho Yun to such an extent was still unknown. Her spine instantly broke out in a cold sweat. Just 2 hours ago, Qin Won'er was still at the police station shouting that she wanted to personally capture the person who had brutally murdered so many people. Now, however, she was afraid. She finally knew that the world she lived in was absolutely not an ordinary existence. There were still experts like Soo-yun and Cho Yun. It was very clear that the person they called Scarlet Scorpion, the S-rank wanted criminal Hao Kai, was also an expert like them. Only today did Qin Won'er thoroughly understand that when an ordinary person faced an expert, they simply had no room to retaliate. She suddenly had an idea. She wanted to have Soo-yun train her to become an expert. Only by becoming an expert would she have the capital to apprehend the experts among the criminals. Phew. Su-Yun quickly adjusted his meridians. He let out a long breath and opened his eyes to see Qinwan, staring at him with a serious gaze. Su-Yun looked again at Cho-Yun, whose clothes had been torn by him. He hurriedly said to Qinwan, "Stay here and take care of her. In a moment, if she asks, just say that you were the one who took off her clothes and applied the medicine. Don't ever sell me out. I still want to live for 2 more years." Qinwan nodded and then shook her head. She wasn't a doctor, so how could she know so much? Moreover, these bottles and jars didn't seem to be hers. Su-Yun didn't have time to explain to her. He quickly ran to the window and jumped down again. He had to think of a way to deal with Scarlet Scorpion. However, when Su-Yun came out again, he could no longer see Scarlet Scorpion's figure. Su-Yun instantly felt a chill in his heart. He was certain that Scarlet Scorpion absolutely couldn't stand up and move on his own in such a short period of time. This also meant that he had other accomplices. This assumption was indeed too frightening. Su-Yun's piercingly cold gaze quickly swept in all directions, but he couldn't find any abnormalities. That's not right. If Scarlet Scorpion had other accomplices, then they would definitely have helped when Scarlet Scorpion attacked. Su-Yun was very clear that when he was fighting with Scarlet Scorpion, there was a large gap behind him. If someone had attacked him from behind, he would definitely not have the energy to block it. Then the one lying on the ground today would definitely be him, and he would also not have the opportunity to break through his mental state. However, from start to finish, no one had made a move when he fought with Scarlet Scorpion. Could it be that Scarlet Scorpion really had the ability to recover his mobility and escape on his own in such a short period of time? Or could it be that his collapse was a complete lie? Impossible, it definitely wasn't that simple. Su-Yun denied each and every thought that popped up in his mind. He still felt that Scarlet Scorpion being rescued by someone was the most reasonable explanation. But who would do such a thing? At this time, Qinwan also ran out. She and Su-Yun were both concerned about the outcome of this wanted criminal, but the scene made her completely confused. Where is he? I don't know. When Su-Yun saw Qinwan come out, he once again vigilantly looked all around. He was afraid that Scarlet Scorpion would hide and suddenly attack. Qinwan was extremely angry in her heart. How could he say he didn't know? Wasn't he the one who knocked him down? Wait, Qinwan's heart suddenly flashed with a light. Could it be that Ma Pinghai rescued him? Didn't you bring Ma Pinghai into the police station? Su-Yun frowned. Because there was no evidence, and Ma Pinghai was a person with an official status. The station was afraid of making a mistake and causing unnecessary public opinion, so they could only let him go. Qinwan also had no way to deal with this. After all, the police were the police. They couldn't just randomly arrest people. Su-Yun's face became serious. Then it can't be Ma Pinghai. Why? Qinwan said. He really is related to Ma Pinghai. Ma Pinghai doesn't have the ability to quietly take someone away. Su-Yun narrowed his eyes and changed the topic. The reason why Hao Kai is called Scarlet Scorpion is because he is ruthless enough and poisonous enough. If he knew that Ma Pinghai was in the police station, I think, regardless of whether Ma Pinghai said anything about him or not, he wouldn't let Ma Pinghai go. Qinwan's face was shocked. What do you mean? Maybe Ma Pinghai is already dead. Su-Yun's guess was not without basis. Qinwan shook her head in disbelief. Impossible. Ma Pinghai was just released from the police station. This person has no time to commit the crime. Su-Yun coldly said, Scarlet Scorpion only needs a few seconds to kill Ma Pinghai. If my guess is correct, Ma Pinghai must have died near the police station. Qinwan felt a chill in her heart. What you said is just your guess. That's right. It's just my guess. Su-Yun nodded and helplessly said, I don't have time to care about Ma Pinghai's life or death. I just want to know who took Scarlet Scorpion away. It looks like the danger hasn't been eliminated. Qinwan tried to calm herself down. Su-Yun, can you tell me who Cho-Yun is? Why would she provoke such a dangerous person? Su-Yun smiled slightly. Cho-Yun is a dangerous person. Hee, but I'm afraid the one who provoked these people isn't her, but Guogua. Cho-Yun is just a person who protects Guogua. Guogua. Qinwan almost choked. She's just a little kid. How could she provoke these people? Soo-Yun didn't answer. This matter couldn't be explained in 1 or 2 sentences. Even if you ask me, I don't know. Forget it, let's go back to sleep. I don't think anything will happen today. Sleep? That guy was rescued. Aren't you worried about any danger? Chin Won-er wanted to go to the police station and ask the police to investigate Hudong City. If that person wanted to attack, I'm afraid he wouldn't have waited for us to notice. Soo-Yun smiled faintly. Just now when Cho-Yen and I were healing, it was the best time for him to launch a sneak attack. Since he didn't choose to make a move at that time, it means that he has no intention of making a move. Chin Won-er thought Soo-Yun's analysis made sense, but it was a bit risky. Soo-Yun saw Chin Won-er's worry. I'm not a police officer, so I won't think like a police officer. Don't worry, I'm just relying on my feelings. I have my own way of thinking, and I believe I understand these people better than you do. What kind of monsters are you? Chin Won-er had a bitter smile on her face. Have you seen such a handsome monster? Soo-Yun touched his chin. Chin Won-er rolled her eyes and was speechless. Don't be so smug. Go back and see Cho-Yun. The two went back to the 2nd floor of the medicinal cuisine house. Soo-Yun was about to open the door when Chin Won-er stopped him. Chin Won-er pouted. I'll put some clothes on her before you go in. Otherwise, you'll be too lucky. F***ck. Of course Soo-Yun was very depressed. He was originally thinking that he could take another look. Look at your face. You look disappointed. Humph, pervert, Chin Won-er said unhappily. Haven't you seen enough? I suspect you have bad intentions. You could have just let me put on the medicine, but you had to do it yourself. You even took off a girl's clothes. Why do I hear jealousy in your voice? Soo-Yun shrugged. Chin Won-er, are you jealous? Cough, cough, cough. If you think it's unfair, I can do it for you. Chin Won-er lifted her leg to kick him, but Soo-Yun dodged. She was not satisfied. Be careful if you want to talk nonsense again. Soo-Yun stopped joking with Chin Won-er. Please take care of Cho-Yun tonight. I thank you on behalf of Guagua. Chin Won-er snorted. Who needs your help? I'm not a cold-blooded animal. There's one more thing I want to ask you. Will you report what happened today to your leader tomorrow? Soo-Yun suddenly remembered that they had not discussed this yet. Chin Won-er and Soo-Yun looked at each other. After half a minute, she slowly said, What do you think? Soo-Yun did not beat around the bush. Of course, I hope you won't report it to your leader. If you do, Cho-Yun and I won't be able to hide. We will definitely be involved in your plan. Isn't it good to cooperate with the police? Chin Won-er did not understand why Soo-Yun always had a feeling of resistance against the police. Soo-Yun nodded. I don't like trouble. Chin Won-er looked at Soo-Yun helplessly for a long time. Finally, she chose to compromise. Okay, I can promise you that I won't report what happened today to the investigation team of the Municipal Bureau. Soo-Yun smiled. Say it. What's your condition? Of course, he did not believe that Chin Won-er, a policewoman with social responsibility, would do that. She must have enough reasons to do so. So, Soo-Yun was very clear that she would put forward her conditions and requirements. Since you are so straightforward, I won't beat around the bush. Chin Won-er shrugged. I want to bet. Bet. Soo-Yun smiled faintly. Hee hee, you're betting on me? Chin Won-er's face showed a trace of an uneasy smile. She hoped that she had made the right bet this time. She believed that Soo-Yun would not let her down. This way, she would not go against the principles she had since entering the police academy in vain. Sigh. Soo-Yun smiled bitterly. It seemed that he had to settle this matter. No matter if it was for Guogua's safety or for Chin Won-er's trust, he had to personally resolve the threat of Scarlet Scorpion. Okay, then you've made the right choice. I also feel that choosing to believe in me is more reliable than choosing to believe in you police. Soo-Yun grinned. I'll leave Cho-Yun to you. Don't worry. Chin Won-er finished speaking and went to Cho-Yun's room. Soo-Yun turned around and returned to his room. His face showed a trace of pain. Just now, he had been focused on helping Cho-Yun force out the poison. He had completely forgotten that the poison on his left arm could not be removed by the 10,000 poison cream. After calming his heart, Soo-Yun sat cross-legged. He calmed his heart and used his internal energy to force out the poison that had invaded his heart and lungs through his left arm. This damned poisonous scorpion was really not easy to deal with. But who in the world had saved him? This was the thing that gave Soo-Yun the most headache. Chapter 88. The next morning, Guogua saw the 2 fallen trees outside the medicinal cuisine house. She couldn't help but cry out in alarm, scaring Soo-Yun, who hadn't slept for the entire night. Soo-Yun ran out and found that nothing was wrong. Only then did he heave a sigh of relief. "Mom, was there a strong wind last night?" Guogua asked with a puzzled face. Wan Qingshuang was also surprised. She shook her head. She didn't hear the wind last night. It can't be that Baldi Chong came here to cut the trees, right? Guogua couldn't believe her eyes. Mom, did Guogua dream again? Wan Qingshuang vaguely heard some noises last night, but she didn't care at all. Because the medicinal cuisine house was too busy during the day, Wan Qingshuang fell asleep very quickly at night. She also slept very deeply. Guogua slept a little late last night, so she was very sleepy. That was why she didn't wake up when there was such a loud noise outside. Soo-Yun really admired Guogua's imagination. There was no wind, and it wasn't as strong as Baldi Chong. Then I'll call the relevant department. Wan Qingshuang smiled. Cho-Yun hasn't woken up yet? Guogua should go to class. Soo-Yun was startled. He looked at Cho-Yun's room. Cho-Yun came out of her room almost at the same time. Her face was much better than last night. It seemed that the 10,000 poison ointment was very effective in cooperating with Soo-Yun's true qi to force the poison out. Obviously, Cho-Yun didn't know how to face Soo-Yun after what happened yesterday. She didn't expect to meet Soo-Yun's eyes as soon as she went out. She instantly felt embarrassed and didn't know what to do. After all, Soo-Yun directly tore her clothes yesterday and personally applied ointment for her. Some of the places where Cho-Yun was scratched by the scorpion tail needle were girls' more private places. Of course, she felt embarrassed when Soo-Yun saw her naked. Even if Cho-Yun was the ruthless and violent fox venerable, she was still a girl. Qin yawned and appeared behind Cho-Yun. She didn't sleep well last night, so she complained. "I'm so tired. I didn't sleep well last night." Guogua stared at Cho-Yun with her eyes wide open. Suddenly, she covered her mouth with her small hand and looked at Qin in surprise. "Are you guys lesbians?" Cho-Yun was so angry that she almost rolled her eyes. Soo-Yun burst out laughing. "You are the one who is a lesbian." Qin directly went over and twisted Guogua's ear. "Little thing, if you dare to talk nonsense again, I will cut you." "I don't dare, Sister Wanner. I was wrong." Guogua hurriedly begged for mercy. Wan Qingshuang looked at Soo-Yun with a confused face. "What is a lesbian?" Soo-Yun's face darkened. "It should be the same principle as a good gay friend, right? Explain your sister. You have led Sister Qingshuang astray." Qin turned around and angrily glared at Soo-Yun. She inadvertently looked at the clock on the wall and pinched Guogua's pink little face. "Little thing, wait until I come back from work. I will deal with you." Although Cho-Yun had basically recovered, her body was still a little weak. Yesterday, she had already heard Qin talk about how Red Scorpion was rescued. She was a little embarrassed. "Soo-Yun, help me send Guogua off today." "Okay." Soo-Yun readily agreed. He knew that Cho-Yun must be clear about her own body's condition. Perhaps she still needed some time to recuperate. After all, she was injured by a first-class expert like Red Scorpion. If something happened on the road, it would be difficult to guarantee Guogua's safety. "Hey Dad, this is a good chance for you to seduce Miss Sue." Guogua's eyebrows raised meaningfully 3 times. Wan Qingshuang glared at her and said, "Study well in school. Don't cause trouble for Miss Sue." Guogua stuck out her tongue. "Why is Mom jealous? Let's just get married." Wan Qingshuang was completely speechless. Go to school." Soo-Yun directly picked up Guogua and went downstairs. "It's a pity that Godfather's car is broken. Otherwise, we wouldn't have to squeeze in the bus." Guogua laughed dryly. She thought to herself, "Fortunately, that Citroën is broken. Sitting in that car would definitely be embarrassing." Hudong City's International Bilingual School was the most famous school in Jiangshan Province. Parents who sent their students there would at least drive a Camry. Who would drive an outdated Citroën? Wan Qingshuang and Chou Yun stayed at the medicinal cuisine restaurant. Qin Wan'er went straight to the police station. Su Yun carried Guogua with one hand and directly boarded the bus. If one was unlucky, cold water would be stuck in one's teeth. This was Su Yun's first time sending Guogua to school. Not only was the bus hot and crowded, it even stopped halfway. The driver got off the bus to take a look and came back. This bus can't get up. Let's all get off. I'll call the company to have the next bus pick us up. It'll be done in 10 minutes. Immediately, the bus full of passengers complained. Damn, it can't be? Su Yun frowned. If they waited here for 10 minutes, Guogua would be late. Looking at the depressed people starting to get off the bus, Guogua blinked her big eyes. Dad, let's get off too. Let's take a taxi? I'll listen to you. That was all Su Yun could do. He couldn't possibly run 100 meters with Guogua in his arms, right? The morning rush hour was full of commuters. Once the bus broke down, the people who wanted to take a taxi were crowded. As long as there was an empty bus parked on the side of the road, there would definitely be a swarm of people. Although Su Yun could squeeze out of the way every time with his excellent physical fitness, there would always be a poor girl who would say to him when he opened the door, "Handsome, can you help me? Let me call first. I have something urgent to do at the company." Although Su Yun was not a gentleman, he was embarrassed to snatch a bus from those white-collared girls who wore high heels and hip skirts. Anyway, he felt that he would definitely be able to get the next bus, so he let them go. But he let 4 or 5 girls go. Not to mention those hooligans who couldn't beat Su Yun every time. Even Guogua was speechless. Dad, if you still have tender feelings for the fairer sex, I'm afraid I'll really be late. Guogua was hugged in Su Yun's arms. She shrugged helplessly and spread out her small hands. Su Yun grinned. Hey, the next bus will definitely be ours. In the end, handsome, if I'm late, the company will fire me. Damn, why didn't such a beautiful girl tell me earlier? Forget it, I'll be a good person until the end. Su Yun's position collapsed once again. Guogua's face was full of black lines. It looked like she still couldn't let her dad send her off in the future. If Sister Chou Yun came, she wouldn't even need to stop a bus. Those hooligans would definitely rush to stop them and say to them, "Beauty, why don't you go first?" Just as Guogua was mentally preparing herself for being late, a red Golf beautifully stopped in front of the two. Su Yun frowned. Could it be that Scarlet Scorpion's gang wanted to kidnap them? The car window rolled down. A graceful and beautiful face wearing large aviator sunglasses smiled faintly, revealing a row of clean white teeth. How come it's you guys? Miss Su. Guogua was immediately overjoyed. The bus broke down just now. The taxi my dad stopped was given to other beautiful sisters. Miss Su, can we get in the car? Su Shaoran waved her slender white hand. Ai, this time we won't be late. Guogua finally let out a sigh of relief. Su Yun wasn't polite. He directly opened the back door and stuffed Guogua in. Then he also sat in. Miss Su, I've really troubled you. Su Shaoran faintly smiled. Don't be polite with me. It's just a small matter. Actually, Su Shaoran had a good impression of Su Yun. This was because she had heard about the matters of Wan Qingshuang and Guogua from Qin Wan'er. Su Yun was a young man with a rather handsome appearance. To be able to lend a helping hand when they were in trouble was not a virtue that anyone could possess. Even though Guogua later said that her father must have coveted her mother's beauty, Su Shaoran still felt that a person who could offend the infamous Four-Wolf Gang for a stranger was an extremely courageous act. A man's courage was a huge weapon that attracted women. Of course, this kind of courage wasn't the so-called bad temper. It was the domineering attitude of not having any misgivings about offending evil forces. Su Shaoran drove the car and left. The hooligans who had been fighting over the taxi with Su Yun on the side of the road felt a wave of envy, jealousy, and hatred in their hearts. Guogua snickered in the car. Being personally taken to school by the teacher was quite a face. It would be best if she could meet her classmates when she got off the car. However, Guogua's complacency didn't last long. Because of Su Shaoran's sudden break, Guogua slammed on the front seat. That I'm sorry. I just got my driver's license not long ago. The license plate of the car was just put on yesterday. Today is my first time on the road. Su Xiaoran said with a guilty face. Just now, the car in front of them had braked because of the red light. Su Xiaoran's mind was a little distracted because of Su Yun, so she slammed on the brakes so hard. Guogua's back was covered in cold sweat. No wonder she hadn't seen Su Xiaoran drive to school before. Miss Su, are you a road killer? Su Xiaoran smiled embarrassedly. Hee, I'll drive slowly. It should be fine. Guogua rolled her eyes. It was over. She would definitely be late. Dad, can you go to the front passenger seat? Okay. Su Yun didn't hesitate. He didn't want to be late for the first time sending Guogua to school. He directly opened the door and got out of the car on the way. He quickly got into the front passenger seat and said to Su Xiaoran, "Don't worry. Drive boldly." Su Xiaoran didn't know why she suddenly felt a little embarrassed and nervous. Maybe it was because the man she had always been curious about was suddenly sitting too close to her. Su Yun tried his best to make his smile more masculine. Su Xiaoran was not as beautiful as Ruan Qingshuang. Her figure was not as domineering as Qin Wan. Her temperament was not as noble as Chou Yun. However, she was not weaker than the three of them in all aspects. Moreover, that kind of intimacy was really hard to resist. She was indeed a primary school teacher. The two of them looked at each other, and no one was the first to withdraw their gaze. Cough. Guogua finally coughed. These two people really didn't put her in their eyes at all. Miss Su, the light is green. Only then did Su Xiaoran suddenly come back to her senses, and her face unknowingly turned red. Guogua reminded Su Yun again. Dad, I asked you to go to the front to ensure my safety. Don't just look at Miss Su. Chapter 89. Su Xiaoran had always felt that she had practiced well in the driving school, and was confident enough to drive on the road. However, now that there was someone sitting next to her, she felt uncomfortable. The car was so easy to drive that she had to step on the accelerator and brake. The car was shaking like a pig that saw a tender cabbage. Guogua really collapsed. Dad, why don't you sit back? You don't believe in Dad's level? Su Yun frowned. Okay, then I will show you. Guogua looked at Su Yun with excitement. She said with an expression of watching a good show. What can you do in the front passenger seat? How could Su Xiaoran not be curious? Miss Su, sorry to offend you. Su Yun smiled slightly and said softly, let's go. Suddenly, Su Yun's left hand pressed on Su Xiaoran's knee. Su Xiaoran was unprepared and stepped on the accelerator. The engine hummed and directly hit the car in front. Su Xiaoran was so scared that her face turned pale. However, Su Yun's right hand quickly pulled the steering wheel. The car passed by the car in front without any accident. After that, Su Yun didn't have the intention to let Su Xiaoran step on the brakes. He calculated the distance and the time of the traffic lights. He only controlled Su Xiaoran's right leg to step on the accelerator. He controlled the steering wheel with one hand and crossed the road with ease. Although this driving was indeed a bit overbearing and not particular, Su Yun definitely didn't go over the yellow line. The only violation was that he overtook on the right side. However, this probably wasn't a violation now. There were too many road bullies in the overtaking lane. It was normal for experienced drivers to overtake on the right side. Soon, Su Xiaoran mechanically drove the car into the school under Su Yun's control. She didn't even step on the brakes on the road. Su Yun's driving skills were simply godly. Su Xiaoran, a novice driver, was completely in awe of him. There's still 1 minute left. I can't delay any longer. Goodbye, Dad. Goodbye, Miss Su. Guogua opened the door and got out of the car. She carried her school bag and instantly ran away. Su Yun smiled and said, Miss Su, thank you so much for today. Otherwise, Guogua would definitely be late. Su Xiaoran hurriedly shook her head and said, I should be the one thanking you. If I hadn't met you, I'm afraid I would have been late. Then I won't disturb you any longer. You should also prepare for class, Su Yun said as he opened the door and prepared to leave. Su Xiaoran also got out of the car, but she said to Su Yun, that I don't have class today. Every week, The school will arrange for a class to have a foreign teacher for one day, so that the children can receive a Western education. Today it's Guogua's and my turn, so I don't have anything to do today. Su Yun smiled and said, "You still have to work. Miss Su, I'll go first. See you later." "Wait a minute," Su Xiaoran shouted again. And Su Yun was slightly stunned. "Is there anything I can help you with?" Su Xiaoran's face was a little embarrassed. "I really have something to ask you. I want to learn how to drive from you. Can you teach me?" Su Yun stroked the stubble on his chin. Driving skills were something that could only be achieved through practice. It was difficult to explain in theory. Su Xiaoran saw that Su Yun didn't answer, so she said, "There's air conditioning in the office. Today several teachers have classes, so there's no one in the office." "Okay then." Su Yun saw that Su Xiaoran was so sincere. Moreover, he didn't have anything to do, so he agreed. Because he definitely wouldn't return to the medicinal cuisine house. Chou Yan's purpose in having him deliver Guogua was to have him protect her the entire time. After all, it was still a mystery who had rescued Scarlet Scorpion, and Guogua's side was still surrounded by danger. Hearing Su Yun agree, Su Xiaoran felt a burst of joy in her heart. She didn't know why, but she was very happy. Su Xiaoran parked the car, and the two walked towards the school building. Suddenly, a few boys and girls who looked to be 16 or 17 years old passed by them. The girls were dressed in mature and sexy clothes, and the boys were dressed in fashionable clothes. "Why are there such old students?" Su Yun was a little surprised. Su Xiaoran explained, "The bilingual international school is divided into two districts. The East District is our primary school district, and the West District is the middle school district. According to the rules, the middle school students have to go through the West Gate, but there are always some disobedient middle school students who go through the East Gate." Su Yun suddenly understood. No wonder the bilingual international school was so famous. It was a school that could solve all the problems from grade 1 to grade 9, plus the 3 years of high school. This completely solved the problems of the children's middle school exams. No wonder so many parents threw their children here. Soon Su Yun followed Su Xiaoran to her office. The office was decorated in a very modern style. The glass and angular partitions made the whole place look very tasteful. "Not bad." Su Yun grinned. This environment was really good. If he could come here and be a teacher, wouldn't it be great? Su Xiaoran first asked Su Yun to sit down, then poured 2 glasses of water and brought it over. "Su Yun, I just want to know how you achieved the feeling of being one with the car. On the road, I completely felt that the car would do whatever you wanted it to do. It's just amazing." Su Yun drank a mouthful of water. Anyone can drive, but it's not that easy to completely control a car. If you can't completely control it, then it's a dangerous killer that can appear at any time. If you can control it obediently, then it's a powerful helper. Su Xiaoran smiled awkwardly. "Then I'm also considered a road killer now, right?" "A typical road killer." Su Yun smiled. "Now many people are road killers. The driving school's instruction is mechanical. They can teach someone who can drive, but it's impossible to teach someone who can completely control a car." Su Xiaoran was very expectant. "Then how can I become someone who can control a car? Like Fan Xian in the Fast and Furious movie? Like Diesel?" Su Yun shrugged. "Movie stunts are not something that ordinary people can learn. I can only tell you some small tricks, so that you can be prepared to go on the road alone in the future." Su Xiaoran nodded vigorously. In her eyes, Su Yun was the model of Huaxia. Diesel. She hurriedly took out her notebook and pen to take notes. Okay. Since he had nothing to do, Su Yun played the role of a car coach. "First, I'll talk about the relationship between the size of the car in the rearview mirror and the distance between the car and the car. What you need to remember is that the car's shadow occupies the entire rearview mirror, and the distance between the car and the car is about 3 meters. Then, how to judge the distance between the car in front and the car in a traffic jam. When you see the top of the bumper of the car in front, the distance between the car and the car is about 1 meter. Su Yun spoke seriously, and Su Xiaoran also took notes seriously. Although what Su Yun said could not make her a racer who could become one with the car, It could let her know how to deal with the situation on the road. If she wanted to become one with the car, she had to practice it personally and drive more. Suddenly, the office door was pushed open, and a man who was more than 185 meters tall walked in. The man's face was cold and handsome, with thick eyebrows and a high nose. He was wearing a slim-fit Calvin Klein, and the Prada leather shoes on his feet were polished to a shine. He was obviously a tall, rich, and handsome man who exuded a noble aura everywhere. Lu Tianyi? When Su Xiaoran saw this person, her eyebrows clearly frowned, but it was only a very weak frown. A tall, rich, and handsome man was indeed a tall, rich, and handsome man. He smiled politely. Xiaoran, don't you have class today? Teacher Lu, you should just call me Miss Su. Su Xiaoran was clearly not used to this person calling her so intimately. Lu Tianyi frowned. He had been chasing Su Xiaoran for more than a day or two, but Su Xiaoran had always been indifferent to him. Today, when he found out that Su Xiaoran didn't have class and coincidentally, he also didn't have class, so not long after the bell rang he excitedly rushed to Su Xiaoran's office. But what made Lu Tianyi unhappy was that when he walked to the door, he heard a man's voice. Moreover, he felt that the man was especially pretentious, actually talking about driving skills. He thought to himself, "Pay. Lousy has a Ferrari. No matter how F**king skillful you are, you'll still be left a few streets behind." Although Lu Tianyi really wanted to go in and drag that man out to give him a beating, he suppressed it in order to maintain a good impression in front of Su Xiaoran. After adjusting his breathing, he pushed the door open and walked in. Lu Tianyi was even more surprised when he walked in. The person sitting beside Su Xiaoran was actually a guy wearing underwear, a singlet, and flip-flops. Even if this guy could afford a car was a problem, how could he still have the face to talk to Su Xiaoran about being one with the car? Even so, Lu Tianyi still tried his best to control his disdain, and greeted Su Xiaoran elegantly. However, Su Xiaoran's indifferent response made him feel very hurt. "Xiaoran, if you want to learn how to drive, I'll give you the car, you can use it to practice." Lu Tianyi generously took out a Grand Cherokee key from his pocket. Su Yun glanced at it. F***ck, he really was rich. The cheapest car cost 600,000 to 700,000. Su Xiaoran was still indifferent to Lu Tianyi. "Teacher Lu, thank you for your kindness. I've already bought my own car, I'll use my own to practice." Lu Tianyi was stunned, and then came to a realization. "Xiaoran, that red Golf isn't yours, right?" "Yes." Su Xiaoran was still expressionless. She emphasized again. "You should just call me Miss Su." Lu Tianyi didn't take in the meaning at all. "Xiaoran, we're really two-fated. Hee. I parked my car beside you just now." Su Xiaoran smiled politely. What kind of fate was this? "Xiaoran, if you want to learn how to drive, I'll teach you. This thing needs to be put into practice. Everyone can talk about these theories, there's no point in talking about it too much." Lu Tianyi's words were obviously for Su Yin to hear. He paused for a moment before continuing. "Besides, that car doesn't suit someone of your status. If you like it, I'll give you an Audi tomorrow. A BMW is fine too." Su Xiaoran finally couldn't take it anymore. "Teacher Lu, thank you for your kindness, but I can't accept it without doing anything. Also, I still hope that you can respect my opinion. Please call me Miss Su, don't call me Xiaoran anymore." Lu Tianyi was rejected, and his face was dejected. "Xiaoran." Chapter 90. Lu Tianyi was already pissed off that this guy in singlet, underpants, and flip-flops was sitting beside Su Xiaoran. And now this guy was mocking him? What a joke. Lu Tianyi looked at Su Yin from head to toe. He swore that even one of his shoelaces was worth God knows how many times more than his entire body. What right did he have to sit beside Su Xiaoran? Lu Tianyi didn't have any elegant smile on his face towards Su Yin. "Who are you? Who are you to interrupt when I'm talking to Xiaoran?" Su Xiaoran's face changed slightly. Lu Tianyi was the one with the most background among the young teachers, and according to rumors, his family wasn't just a little bit rich. He only had 3 or 4 cars, and even the cheapest ones were worth 500,000 or 600,000. As a result, Lu Tianyi was relatively fearless among the school's teachers, and most of them looked up to him because of his background. That was why he gave off the feeling of being high above everyone else. Su Xiaoran was definitely the school beauty of Hudong International Bilingual School, and one of the most beautiful teachers in the city. Lu Tianyi naturally felt that they were a match made in heaven, and so he never stopped pursuing Su Xiaoran. However, Su Xiaoran's response was more obvious. She didn't like the type of rich and handsome men like Lu Tianyi. She wasn't the kind of girl who fantasized about marrying into a rich family, nor was she the kind of girl who would give her body for luxuries. Su Yun didn't say anything after being choked by Lu Tianyi. Sis Shuang had told Guogua not to cause trouble for Miss Su at school, and if he couldn't help but slap this pretentious bastard, then the one causing trouble for Miss Su wouldn't be the evildoer's daughter, but the evildoer's father. Lu Tianyi saw that Su Yun didn't have any intention of retorting, and sneered coldly, thinking to himself, "You're just a fucking piece of trash, and you want to steal my woman? Why don't you take a piss and look in the mirror to see what you look like?" Lu Tianyi, who had a sinister heart, was as gentle as a dying man on the surface. "Xiaoran, I just want to teach you how to drive as a friend and colleague. I really don't have any other intentions." Su Xiaoran was too lazy to insist that he call her Miss Su. "Teacher Lu, I thank you for your kind intentions. You also saw that I already have a coach. There's no need to trouble you." Him. Lu Tianyi looked at Su Yun with disdain. What kind of coach is he? What could he possibly say by moving his lips? Looking at the top edge of the bumper behind the front car, the distance between the two cars is about 1 meter. What's the use of these rigid things? Su Xiaoran didn't agree with Lu Tianyi. "It's fine as long as I think it's useful. This is the way I chose to study." After that, Su Xiaoran said to Su Yun, "Coach Su, you can continue. I will take notes carefully." Su Yun didn't care. "All right, then I'll continue." The left rear view mirror shows the rear of the car from the middle of the rear wheel cover. "What are you talking about?" Lu Tianyi interrupted Su Yun directly and asked rudely, "Do you have a car?" Su Yun answered honestly, "No." Lu Tianyi's face was full of disdain. "You don't even have a car. What right do you have to teach Xiaoran how to drive? Have you driven a car before? Have you driven a Porsche? Have you driven a Mercedes-Benz? Have you driven a BMW? No." Su Yun shook his head. Lu Tianyi really wondered how this guy could answer him so shamelessly. He continued to ask, "Then have you heard of Ferrari and Maserati? Have you seen a Bentley Mulsanne? Have you seen a Rolls-Royce Phantom?" "I've heard of it, but I've never seen it." Su Yun still answered honestly. Lu Tianyi clicked his tongue. Of course, he knew that this kind of country bumpkin had never seen it. Lu Tianyi said proudly, "Let me tell you, I've driven more cars than you can recognize. What right do you have to teach Xiaoran how to drive? What kind of cars have you driven?" Su Yun rubbed his chin and pondered for a while before saying, "I've driven light tanks, armored infantry vehicles, amphibious transport vehicles, and infrared laser reconnaissance radar vehicles. Do those count?" Su Xiaoran stared at Su Yun with wide eyes. Was this guy joking? How could those be driven by normal people? Lu Tianyi was stunned for a while before bursting into arrogant laughter. "Ha ha ha. Do you think we're idiots? Have you driven a tank? Ha ha ha. I've even driven a plane." "Oh, planes count. Then I've driven Xiaolong light fighter jets, Apache assault helicopters and AWACS." Su Yun counted with his fingers. It seemed like there were only those few types. He wasn't a pilot and didn't have that many chances to fly in the sky. "Do you think I'm an idiot?" Lu Tianyi couldn't take it anymore. "Who would believe these things you say?" Su Yun shrugged. "It's fine if you don't believe me. I didn't force you to believe me. You asked me yourself. Xiaoran, you believe this kind of person's words?" Lu Tianyi completely treated Su Yun as a crazy idiot. Normal people wouldn't brag like this. It was pure nonsense. Su Xiaoran's face was a little ugly. Her tone became serious. "Teacher Lu, I'm free to do whatever I want. If you don't have anything else, I won't be seeing you off." Lu Tianyi's eye muscles twitched. He was clearly angry at Su Xiaoran's choice. "Don't tell me you still think this guy knows more about cars after I've said so much? I'm afraid he doesn't even know how to drive. Look at how he's dressed. He doesn't look like someone who can afford a car, does he?" Su Xiaoran said sternly. Don't jump to conclusions if you haven't seen it with your own eyes. Lu Tianyi was shocked to see Su Xiaoran yelling at him like this. He glared fiercely at Su Yun. Brat, you better be careful. Same to you. Su Yun couldn't be bothered to think about this guy's threat. Compared to the threat of the person who saved Scarlet Scorpion, this tall, rich, and handsome teacher's threat was just fart. Lu Tianyi snorted heavily and turned to leave. A 30-foot-long flame quickly rose to the top of his head. Su Xiaoran couldn't help but frown. She was more or less worried. After all, Lu Tianyi was a guy with a strong background and a rich family. Su Yun didn't give him any face. She was a little worried that he would do something out of line to Su Yun. After Lu Tianyi left, Su Xiaoran couldn't help but reveal a worried expression. Su Yun, I'm sorry. Teacher Lu is a proud and arrogant person. If he offended you in any way, I'll apologize on your behalf. Su Yun shook his head. You don't have to apologize on his behalf. I can see that you don't like him either. He probably pesters you a lot, right? Miss Su, if you need any help, you can tell me. I can't stand shameless men. Su Xiaoran smiled bitterly. It's not as serious as you make it out to be. But I really don't like that type of man. He relies too much on his family's connections. He's always arrogant and prideful. And this arrogance doesn't come from himself. That's why I don't like it. Then just tell him. Su Yun said. If you don't like him, then you don't like him. You can't force him. Su Xiaoran nodded. I did say that, but he still pesters you, right? I knew it would be like this. He looks like a dog, but I didn't expect him to be such a thick-skinned guy. Su Yun's evaluation was really straightforward. He didn't do anything. He just kept saying that we should start as friends. Sigh, but in front of others he always calls me so intimately. People who don't know the situation all think that there's something going on between us. Su Xiaoran had a headache over this matter. Now many teachers are saying that I've already hooked up with a rich family. I can't explain it. Su Yun nodded, showing that he understood. That guy's methods could be considered brilliant. He intended to create smoke so that many colleagues would think that there was something going on between the two of them. Then, after the rumors spread, Su Xiaoran would have to agree even if she didn't want to. Sooner or later, it would be a matter of pushing the boat along the current. The brilliance of this method was that it created feelings invisibly. Even if Su Xiaoran didn't have any feelings for him, others would think that she was putting on an act. If Su Xiaoran insisted on not being with him in the end, then no one would think that Su Xiaoran was so steadfast. They would think that she thought too highly of herself. And then Lu Tianyi got sick of her and abandoned her. Do you want me to talk to him for you? Su Yun smiled. That kind of person relied on his good family background and was spoiled rotten since he was young. If you really beat him up, he would definitely change. Su Xiaoran hurriedly waved her hand. No need really. I can handle my own matters. All right then. Do you want to continue listening? Su Yun pointed at Su Xiaoran's notes. Su Xiaoran nodded vigorously. Of course. By the way, you said just now that you've driven a tank in a plane. Is that true or false? Su Yun narrowed his eyes and smiled. If she really wanted to get to the bottom of this, he wouldn't know how to explain. He shook his head directly. I'm not Shuck or Beta. How could I drive a plane or a tank? It's just nonsense. Su Xiaoran's expectant expression was clearly a little disappointed. She really did believe him just now. For some reason, she just felt that this man's words were very credible. She just suspected that he was one of the legendary all-rounders in Huaxia's army. But then again, how could an all-rounder become a chef at such a young age? Su Xiaoran felt that her rich imagination was very laughable. The lecture continued. Su Yun described it vividly, and Su Xiaoran listened with great interest. Except for Guogua, who came here to cause trouble during the break, most of the time was quite harmonious. Finally, school was over. Guogua went straight to Su Xiaoran's office again, claiming that she was catching the adulterer. Su Xiaoran learned a lot of knowledge that the driving school didn't teach her in the morning, so she was very grateful. To express my gratitude, I'll treat you to lunch at noon. How about Guogua? Guogua's face was full of suspicion. Her eyes were rolling. She thought to herself, isn't this development too fast? Dad took down Miss Sue in just one morning? Dad is indeed an expert at picking up girls. You drove us here in the morning. Guagua and I should be the ones thanking you. Suyun smiled faintly and said, we should be the ones treating you. Guagua waved her hand like a little adult. Okay. You don't have to be so polite. Why don't we go directly to the medicinal cuisine house to eat? Miss Sue, don't you want to try my dad's cooking? Su Xiaoran heard and couldn't help but nod. She looked at Suyin embarrassedly. Can I? Let's go. Suyin was of course willing. I'll drive. Hee Guagua, Miss Sue isn't the road killer from this morning. Your dad taught me a lot of things. Su Xiaoran said proudly. Guagua was confused. Could it be that Miss Sue learned everything when Dad touched her thigh in the car this morning? Chapter 91. Let's go. Guagua didn't realize how damaging her words were. She swaggered away, unaware of how awkward it was for Suyin and Su Xiaoran. Suyin was wrongly accused. F***ck, I swear I only touched a knee that had no flesh at all. When the three of them arrived at the teacher's parking lot, Lu Tianyi had been waiting for a long time. He wanted to treat Su Xiaoran to a meal and have a good chat with Su Xiaoran. He didn't want to interact with that kind of shady person. What Lu Tianyi didn't expect was that the shady person had brought a primary school student with him, shamelessly following Su Xiaoran. From the looks of it, he wanted to leave with Su Xiaoran. Xiaoran, where are you going? Lu Tianyi frowned as soon as he opened his mouth, but he still insisted. I heard that the French food in that new Parisian-style restaurant is very authentic, so I booked a meal for two. I want to invite you along. Su Xiaoran didn't bother to emphasize that he should call her Miss Sue. She pointed at Guagua. This is my student. I want to go with my student for a family visit. I'm sorry, but I can only decline your kindness. Lu Tianyi naturally wouldn't let it go. Xiaoran, I sincerely want to treat you to a meal. I'm inviting you as a friend. If you don't agree, wouldn't you be too disrespectful? Didn't you hear Miss Sue say that she wants to visit my house? Guagua looked at Lu Tianyi seriously. Sorry, your invitation is a bit late. It was obvious that Guagua had already listed this tall, rich, and handsome teacher as her dad's rival in love. She would never allow anyone she didn't like to be around Miss Sue. Guagua obviously didn't like this tall, rich, and handsome teacher, because he was full of vanity and hypocrisy. Lu Tianyi saw Su Xiaoran looking at him from the corner of his eyes. So he smiled. Little beauty, if you can convince Miss Sue, then Teacher Lu will bring you and Miss Sue together. French cuisine is delicious, and there are delicious desserts too. From Lu Tianyi's point of view, there was no way a child would be able to resist the temptation of delicious food. If she really went with them, he could just order a cake for her to eat on the side. But what kind of storms had Guagua not seen before? French cuisine? Oh, she had been to the Silver Tower at the Cape de la Seine in Paris. I'm not interested. I'm already tired of eating those things. Guagua waved her hand, not giving him any face. Su Xiaoran was secretly laughing, but on the surface, she still said to Guagua calmly, I didn't expect Guagua to be a little gourmet. Lu Tianyi's brows were completely furrowed. Xiaoran, don't home visits always take place at night? Who would do a home visit at noon? Even if you're going to do a home visit, shouldn't you at least eat before going? Don't worry about it. Miss Sue won't starve at my house. Guagua was getting impatient. This person was really annoying. Suyin couldn't be bothered to listen anymore. He opened the door to the front passenger seat, wanting to get in. What are you doing? Who let you get in the car? Didn't you hear that we're going for a home visit? Why are you following us? Lu Tianyi vented all his anger on Suyin. He was now completely treating Suyin as a personal coach. Suyin couldn't be bothered with him, and got in directly. Guagua shot a glance at this guy who was yelling at her dad, feeling very unhappy. Miss Sue, why are we wasting time with him? I'm hungry. And get in the car. Su Xiaoran touched Guagua's face and turned to Lu Tianyi. I'm sorry, Mr. Lu. That's my student's parent. I'm going for a home visit. Goodbye. Lu Tianyi was stunned for a while before coming back to his senses. That guy was a student's parent. He was so young, and his daughter was already in elementary school? Bullshit. Who was he kidding? Damn it. A strong flame of jealousy rose in Lu Tiany's heart. He pursued Su Xiaoran for so many days, but Su Xiaoran was neither cold nor warm to him. However, she didn't feel the same way towards that guy who was wearing clothes from a street stall. Lu Tiany really wanted to ask Su Xiaoran if she was blind. Watching Su Xiaoran drive that newly bought red Golf out of the school, Lu Tiany's anger surged. There was no way he was going to let this go. No one in Hudong City who dared to steal his woman was born yet. Lu Tiany's father was Lu Sheng, the true overlord of Hudong City's underground world. He had many experts around him, and those arrogant bosses of the 3rd district were nothing but farts in his father's eyes. If he wanted to teach someone a lesson, it would only take him a few words. Unsatisfied, Lu Tiany gritted his teeth and drove straight to Hudong International Hotel. This was the property of his Lu family, and his dad had been staying there all this time. Compared to Su Yun's enjoyable morning, Qin Weiner was much busier. She had just arrived at the police station, and before she could sit down and rest, she received the news of Ma Pinghai's death. Everyone in the task force quickly rushed to the scene of the crime. No one thought that the murderer would dare to kill someone in a park less than 100 meters away from the police station. The murderer must be an extremely vicious person. Qin Weiner's mind buzzed, and she immediately remembered what Su Yun had told her. Red Scorpion only needed a few seconds to kill Ma Pinghai. If I'm not wrong, Ma Pinghai must have died near the police station. Could it be that it was just as Su Yun had guessed, that Ma Pinghai was killed by that guy? The victim's central nervous system was fractured due to a twisted cervical vertebra, causing the victim to be paralyzed and suffocated. This definitely wasn't the murderer's first time. The police doctor who arrived at the scene had a serious face, and finally spoke. A person's cervical vertebra is usually very strong. It's impossible for someone without training or strength to do this. The murderer is definitely not an ordinary person. Because the murder was so close to the police station, the impact of the incident was very bad. Chief Chen Wei also came to the scene personally. After listening to the analysis, Chen Wei's face was serious. He instantly thought of a person. Could it be that because he was in the police station, the murderer thought that he had betrayed him? That's why he was so vicious. The leader of the Red Scorpion Task Force, the captain of the criminal police team, couldn't help but ask, Chief Chun, you mean that the person who killed Ma Pinghai is? Yes, the biggest suspect now is Hao Kai. Chen Wei's eyebrows furrowed. What a tricky case. This was a huge challenge for him. After being a police officer for so many years, this was the first time he had encountered such a dangerous person. Even though Chen Wei had prepared for everything, he didn't expect the murderer to be so vicious that he wouldn't even let go of his own people. Qin Weiner's heart had been pent up. She really wanted to tell Chief Chen what had happened yesterday and ask him to give up on investigating. The police were no match for this person. To deal with this kind of criminal, special forces had to be arranged. However, Su Yun had said that he didn't want her to tell the police about this, and he wanted her to believe in him. Of course, Qin Weiner believed in Su Yun, because the villain had already been defeated by Su Yun. What worried Qin Weiner was that the murderer seemed to be in a gang. If there were 3 or 5 vicious people at the same time, even if all the police forces in Hudong City were mobilized, they wouldn't be able to deal with them. Could this be an S-level wanted criminal? This is simply a demon who kills without blinking an eye, a madman. Finally, someone in the task force couldn't stand the pressure and fear anymore. Chen Wei saw the panic on the faces of the people present, and he naturally understood why they had such a reaction. He wasn't a tyrannical and evil leader. If any of you are afraid now, you can leave. I promise that you won't be punished or demoted. After all, the enemy is not as scary as we thought. Every member of the Hao Kai task force could be in danger at any time. I hope you all understand this. After he said that, everyone present was silent. It was hard for them to accept such a terrifying reality. Qin Weiner understood the weight of Chen Wei's words better than anyone else present. She had seen how powerful and dangerous the enemy was with her own eyes. Even someone as strong as Chou Yun had almost died at the hands of that guy. After all, each of us has a family. We have our elderly parents who are waiting for us to show our filial piety, and some of our colleagues have their own children. Chen Wei continued. None of us are independent people. We don't live for ourselves in this society. So, I hope that you all can consider this carefully. If you are not prepared to sacrifice yourself at any time, I hope that you will take the initiative to leave because I don't want to see my subordinates' families be. Chen Wei choked on his sobs, and he couldn't continue. Chen Wei, are you okay? Qin Weiner asked nervously. Chen Wei shook his head. Finally, the first person who couldn't stand the pressure stood up. He didn't want this to happen either, but he had to be responsible for his daughter, who was less than a year old. Chen Wei, I'm sorry. My family can't leave me. I understand. Chen Wei nodded with a smile. As a young man who had been a father for less than a year, it was impossible to say that he wasn't afraid of death. He made this choice because he wanted to better take on another responsibility. Then another person stood up. Chen Wei, I quit too. The enemy is too scary. I can't take it anymore. Chen Wei nodded with a smile. Ah yes. I've been a police officer for so many years. I can't take it anymore. I understand. Soon there were 4 or 5 people who chose to quit. Running away like this will only increase the arrogance of the criminals. Qin Weiner suddenly scolded. She really couldn't accept watching so many of her colleagues quit one by one. Everyone was silent. Chen Wei was still smiling calmly. Qin, you're not married yet, right? Do you have a boyfriend? Chen Wei, I won't quit. Qin Weiner didn't answer Chen Wei's question directly. She threw the answer in front of Chen Wei. I only know that I'm a police officer. My duty is to protect the safety of the people, not to run away from problems for my own safety. Chapter 92. It was a heavy and silent atmosphere. Qin Weiner did not expect Ma Pinghai's death to have such a big impact on the police station. Then again, the criminal really did not take the police seriously. Otherwise, he would not have done such a provocative thing. I hereby announce the disbandment of the task force. Chen Wei's words came too suddenly. Not only was Qin Weiner surprised, but everyone present looked at Director Chen blankly. Chen Wei was annoyed by his mistake. At the beginning, he had estimated the strength of the Hudong City Police. He had to admit that he had overestimated the strength of his own people and underestimated the S-level wanted criminal. If he had known earlier, he would have asked for help from the higher-ups and sent real masters to help. Qin Weiner was not satisfied. If it had been before, she would have questioned Director Chen's decision. But now, she could understand Director Chen's thoughts. Maybe Director Chen and Su Yin were right. With the current strength of the police, they were no match for the criminal at all. This case is out of our control. Chen Wei was decisive. To avoid unnecessary sacrifices, he directly ordered the disbandment of the task force. Little Qin, come with me to the office. Other staff members dealt with the aftermath of the crime scene. Chen Wei and Qin Weiner went back to the director's office. Chen Wei's face was solemn and uneasy. Little Qin, I know you well. You're not someone who gives up easily. Otherwise, you wouldn't have fought with those evil gangs in Hudong City. But this is different. I hope you can let it go. When you brought Ma Pinghai back, I was sure that you had someone helping you. I hope you can tell the person who helped you not to get involved in this case. Yes, I know. Qin Weiner nodded and looked serious. But Su Yin had already gotten involved. Now that the criminal had hurt him and Cho Yun, how could he let that guy go? Chen Wei saw Qin Weiner's expression and smiled faintly. Although I have disbanded the task force, it does not mean that I will give up and let the criminal get away with it. To deal with this kind of criminal, I will apply to the higher-ups to mobilize a special force. A special force? Qin Weiner suddenly opened her eyes in curiosity. Yes. Chen Wei smiled and said to Qin Wan, at your level, you still can't get in touch with some confidential things, but I believe in your professional ethics. I also believe that you are a well-educated police officer. Sooner or later, you will reach my position or even higher than mine, so there is no harm in telling you. Qin Wanner was surprised. Is there a difference between the special forces and the special forces? Chen Wei nodded. That's the real elite of the elite. Even the best of the special forces might not be qualified to enter the real special forces. Qin Wanner's mouth opened slightly, and she could not help but ask curiously, "What kind of troop is that?" Chunwei shook his head. "That's all I know. As for the details, it's not something a person of my level can know. Hee hee, little Qin, if you're curious, do your job well. I believe that one day, you'll know more than me. Young man, your future is limitless." "Chief Chen, can they really capture Scarlet Scorpion?" Qin Wan'er was perturbed. She did not really believe in the so-called special forces. Hearing Qin Wan'er's words, Chen Wei's eyes suddenly flashed like lightning. His voice suddenly became serious. "How do you know the name Scarlet Scorpion?" From the beginning of the arrest warrant to all the meetings, the higher-ups and Chen Wei had never announced the name Scarlet Scorpion. This was because it was the name of the underground world. This person was different from Goshawk Gongyu. He was a mysterious person. The name Scarlet Scorpion was only known by the higher-ups of the police. It had never been announced. If the name Scarlet Scorpion was announced, it might cause chaos in the underground world. Not everyone in the police world had access to the underground world. Chen Wei only came into contact with the underground world after he became the chief of the city bureau 5 years ago. In the Hudong City police world, only he knew the name Scarlet Scorpion. How did Qin Wan'er mention it? Qin Wan'er was stunned by Chen Wei's stare. Because Su Yin and Chou Yun both called Hao Kai that, she also unconsciously called out the name Scarlet Scorpion. "Little Qin, did the chef in your medicinal cuisine restaurant tell you the name Scarlet Scorpion?" Chen Wei could not help but ask. Qin Wan'er was stunned. "Chief Chen, you arranged for people to investigate me?" Chen Wei did not deny it. "Yes, but I have no ill intentions. It was all a job requirement. I hope you can understand." Qin Wan'er smiled helplessly. No wonder Su Yin always said that he hated to cooperate with the police. It seemed that he already knew that the police had investigated her. This guy was really too much. He didn't even tell her. "Little Qin, I hope you don't mind." Chen Wei continued. "I want to tell you that the people who know the name Scarlet Scorpion are probably experts in the underground world. These kinds of people are very dangerous. I don't want you to get into trouble or have any accidents." Qin Wan'er faintly smiled. "Chief Chen, I really did not expect you to investigate me. I do not want to accept this fact. But I still want to ask, what is the underground world you are talking about? I don't understand at all." Chen Wei frowned. With Qin Wan'er's identity, she should not have come into contact with this kind of thing. However, because there were indeed experts in the underground world around her, Chen Wei decided to explain. "It is another layer of our society. The underground world has no laws, no discipline, and the weak are prey to the strong. It is a world of the strong. It is a world where experts are as common as clouds." "Experts?" Qin Wan'er frowned. "Chief Chen, why do I not understand what you are saying more and more? What kind of people are experts?" Chen Wei took a deep breath. "Scarlet Scorpion is an expert. Those experts have all broken through the limits of the human body. They can break rocks and break trees. Their abilities are unimaginable for us ordinary people. Also, the goshawk you caught before was also an expert in the underground world." Qin Wan'er bitterly smiled. "So, Chief Chen, you were absolutely sure that I could not catch goshawk at that time, right?" "Yes." Chen Wei nodded. "If you said that you could overturn the Four Wolves gang and the Knife and Axe gang alone, I would think that you were really lucky. But if you said that you could catch an expert in the underground world, of course I knew that was a fantasy. Then why didn't you directly expose me? You even wanted to reward me?" Qin Wan'er questioned. Chen Wei's answer was very calm. "Because I knew that the person who helped you had no evil intentions. So I hoped that he would continue to help you in secret. That way he would be helping the police. At that time, I was not sure whether or not he was someone from the underground world. Because many people know the title of Goshawk. Maybe there were hidden experts among the people who could deal with him." Qin Wan'er gave a thumbs up. "So you never exposed me? Hee hee. Then this time, why were you so sure that the person beside me was not an expert among the people, but an expert from the underground world? Because the title of Scarlet Scorpion is only known by people who know about the underground world." Chen Wei's answer was very straightforward. Qin Wan'er did not say anything else. Chen Wei looked at her for a long time. Little Qin, I don't want you to be in danger. Chief Chen, please do not worry. Everyone around me is kind. Qin Wan'er said very seriously. If you have the energy to investigate them, why don't you use that energy to deal with Scarlet Scorpion? Chen Wei was startled. After a long time he said, I have no evil intentions. I just don't want you to be in danger. You are the future hope of the Hudong police force. Qin Wan'er bit her lower lip. Chief Chen, thank you. But I do not accept this kind of investigation with suspicion. Since the task force has been disbanded, I think I should return to my own post. I swear on my character that there is absolutely no such dangerous person around me. After saying that, Qin Wan'er walked out of the police station. Her heart was in a mess. Although she repeatedly emphasized that she did not agree with Chen Wei's words, she could not convince herself. Could it be that Su Yin was really someone from the underground world? Was he someone who came from a world where there was no law and the strong preyed on the weak? Qin Wan'er's heart was like a broken bottle. After she returned to the medicinal cuisine restaurant, she wanted to question Chou Yun. But when she saw Chou Yun's weak body, she did not ask, how come you have time to come back this afternoon? Ruan Qingshuang smiled. Are you on vacation? No, I'm just a bit tired. Qin Wan'er would not show her emotions in front of Ruan Qingshuang. She smiled. I'll change my clothes and come down to help. Ruan Qingshuang said with a pained heart. Wan'er, if you are tired, you can rest for a while. Chou Yun and I can handle it. Qin Wan'er shook her head. Let Chou Yun rest for a while. Ruan Qingshuang was also puzzled the whole morning. Yeah, Chou Yun, what happened to you? You look so weak. Chou Yun did not know how to explain. She just kept silent. She might have gotten food poisoning when she ate outside yesterday. Qin Wan'er helped her cover up. She wasn't feeling well last night. It's better for her to take care of herself today. Chou Yun looked at Qin Wan'er. She did not have a good impression of Qin Wan'er before, but now that feeling was fading. Wan'er, I'm fine. Qin Wan'er heard Chou Yun call her so intimately. She did not take care of her for nothing last night. You're really fine? If you don't feel well later, don't blame us for not reminding you to take care of your body. And the poison in Chou Yun's body had already been removed by Su Yun. She was weak now because she had used up too much internal energy in the fight with Scarlet Scorpion yesterday. Suddenly, a red Golf stopped at the entrance. Guogua was the first to open the door and get out. She pulled Su Xiaoran and ran into the medicinal cuisine restaurant. She said to everyone, Hee, we have guests today. Miss Su is here. Hee, please take a seat. Ruan Qingshuang was obviously very happy that Guogua's class teacher could come here as a guest. Qin Wan'er stared. Xiaoran, why did you get kidnapped by Guogua? http://author. 17K. Kumbukless book. Act. R equals 0. 23635649347290422. Su Yun followed closely behind and pushed open the door. Guogua invited Miss Su to try my cooking. Once she saw Su Yun, Qin Wan'er's thoughts disappeared. She immediately thought of Chief Chen's words. She went up and pulled Su Yun over. Come with me and explain. Qin Wan'er's abnormal behavior made everyone confused. Chapter 93. Su Yun didn't understand what was going on when he was dragged upstairs by Qin Wan'er to her room. Qin Wan'er slammed the door shut and stared at Su Yun. Su Yun felt his crotch tighten. What are you doing? I'm telling you, I'm a pure virgin. If you have any evil thoughts, I won't listen to you. There are so many people downstairs at noon. If you have any evil thoughts, just come and knock on my door at night. Knock your sister. Qin Wan'er glared at Su Yun. I don't have time to listen to your nonsense. Don't talk nonsense in front of me. Then why are you looking for me? Why do you have to talk in private? Su Yun rubbed his chin and didn't understand. You don't need breast enlargement. Why are you looking for me? Qin Wan'er gnashed her teeth. I really want to send you back to ancient times to be a eunuch. Su Yun clamped his legs together. Forget about that. Su Yun, I'm asking you. You better answer me honestly. Qin Wan used her body to block the door and said with a serious face, I'm warning you. If you dare to lie, I won't let you go. Su Yin was completely confused by Qin Wan. What did she mean? Are you someone from the underground world? Qin Wan's eyes lit up when she asked. Su Yin was stunned. This girl even knew about the underground world. It looked like the higher-ups in the police station really valued her. But for her to suddenly ask like this, something must have happened in the police station, right? If he didn't guess wrong, Su Yin believed that his prophecy from yesterday had become a reality. Perhaps the people in the police station had already realized how dangerous Red Scorpion was. Is Ma Pinghai dead? Su Yin didn't directly answer Qin Wan's question and smiled faintly. Qin Wan nodded. That's right. Ma Pinghai is dead. And now we have a preliminary conclusion that Ma Pinghai's death is related to the fugitive Red Scorpion. Preliminary conclusion. Su Yin smiled. Didn't I say it yesterday? There's no need for a preliminary conclusion. You can directly confirm it now. Ma Pinghai was definitely killed by Scarlet Scorpion. I can guarantee that with my head. Qin Wan waved her hand and said, That's not what I want to ask you. I don't care who killed Ma Pinghai. I just want to know if you are from the underground world. Su Yin frowned and said, Where did you hear this from? What underground world? I don't know what you're talking about. Are you still going to pretend with me? Qin Wan snorted and gave an example. You're not from the underground world, so how do you know that the opponent is Red Scorpion? Even the police don't know his nickname. How did you know? Su Yin shrugged. What does that have to do with the underground world? Qin Wan saw that Su Yin was being stubborn, so she said, Okay, you can continue to act dumb, but don't think that I don't know anything. Qin Wan, where did you hear all this nonsense from? Su Yin was somewhat worried. Of course, the less one knew about this kind of thing, the better. However, Qin Wan knew more and more. She even dared to inquire about the underground world. Su Yin, I know that you don't want me to be in danger. Qin Wan was not ungrateful. Now that the task force investigating Hao Kai has been cancelled, I have nothing to do with this matter. You don't have to worry about me at all. I'll return to the station in the afternoon. I'm just curious. I want to know who you are. The task force was cancelled? Su Yin frowned. Perhaps this meant that the police were aware of the danger of the opponent. However, was this matter going to be left unsettled? Su Yin's heart was filled with doubt. Yesterday, Red Scorpion was rescued. Today, the police were going to leave the matter unsettled. Could it be that the water here was so deep? You don't have to get involved in this matter anymore. The leader said that he would let the higher-ups dispatch a special force to deal with it. Qin Wan finally admitted her worry. Su Yin, I don't care if you are from the underground world or not, but I don't want you to get into trouble. Su Yin furrowed his brows. Special forces? Qin Wan nodded. Although I don't know what special force it is, I can tell that the people mobilized this time are definitely not ordinary people. Maybe they are abnormal people like you. Su Yin's heart surged. It can't be right? If they really let his former group of brothers deal with this matter, then it would be interesting. Qin Wan keenly caught the slight change on Su Yin's face. What's with your expression? Nothing. Su Yin was indeed a little emotional just now. Qin Wan sighed. Forget it. I know that whatever I say to you is useless. However, I want to tell you that since the higher-ups have arranged for experts to help, I advise you to withdraw from this matter. I don't want you to be targeted. Su Yin grinned foolishly. I have been targeted by the police for a long time. However, I am a law-abiding citizen. I don't have any weak points to catch. Qin Wan was so angry that her teeth itched. You idiot. Do you understand what I mean? I know. Don't worry. Su Yin's heart was like a mirror. The two of them had been upstairs for a few minutes. Guogua finally curiously climbed upstairs and knocked on the door. Sister Wan. What are you and Dad doing inside? Can Guogua go in? Qin Wan didn't dare to say no. After all, she had already said everything to Su Yin. She hurriedly opened the door to avoid arousing suspicion. Guogua looked at the two of them up and down, and shook her head in disappointment. There was no disheveled scene like she imagined. Dad, we have already invited Miss Sue. Why don't you go and make some of your best dishes? I will go right away. You just wait and see. I will definitely take Miss Sue's stomach. Soo-Yin took the opportunity to quickly run downstairs. Qinwan almost forgot that Su Xiaoran was here. She hurriedly went downstairs to chat with Su Xiaoran. Lu Tianyi was in a bad mood because he didn't succeed in dating his goddess to eat French food. After arriving at Hudong International Hotel, he directly parked his car in the middle of the main entrance. Seeing that the son of the CEO was here, who dared to offend him? The lobby manager, who was taught a lesson by Soo-Yin, immediately bowed and greeted him. Young Master Lu, you are here. What do you want to eat? I will arrange it for you. Eat what? Where is my dad? Lu Tianyi glared angrily. In his eyes, these people were just his Lu family's dogs. That lobby manager hurriedly said. CEO Lu is resting in the private room on the top floor. I will go and inform him. Inform what? I am his son. Do I need to inform him? Lu Tianyi spat. No, of course not. The lobby manager hurriedly said. Hee, my brain is like a pig's brain. I don't understand at all. Damn it. Lu Tianyi didn't have the time to listen to his nonsense. He directly walked to the elevator and went straight to his private room on the 9th floor. The waiter in the front hall couldn't help but remind the lobby manager. Manager, Boss Lu has instructed that no matter who is looking for him today, we have to inform him. If we let them in without informing him, then you. What will I do? Pack up and leave? The lobby manager humphed. Don't use your pig brain to think. Do you think I will pack up and leave? Did I let an outsider in? That is young Master Lu, the future successor of the Lu family. Don't you use your brain? Why, yes, you are right, manager. The lobby manager shook his head in disdain. I think someone like you is the one who will pack up and leave sooner or later. Lu Tianyi took the elevator to the top floor. He was already used to his dad not coming home all year round. His mom died early anyway, and he was happy that his dad didn't come home. It was more convenient for him to bring women home to flirt and have fun. The rooms on the top floor of the hotel were never open to outsiders. They were all for the Lu family. The suite on the far left was Lu Sheng's private room. He knew that his good-for-nothing son had been obsessed with women ever since he came back to the country, often bringing women home. To avoid awkwardness, Lu Sheng decided not to go home and just stayed in the hotel. Today, he ordered everyone downstairs to inform him because he had an important guest. He never expected his son to show up at a time like this. Bang! Lu Tianyi didn't even knock before barging in. Why are you here? Lu Sheng was 55 years old. A unique aura of dignity and anger pressed down on his son. Although Lu Tianyi was already used to his dad's imposing manner, he was still a little timid. You are my dad. Can I come to see you? Lu Sheng snorted. He didn't believe that this unfilial son of his would have such intentions. He knew what kind of person his son was. There were only two reasons why he would come to see him. One was that he needed money, and two was that he ran into something he couldn't handle. This is your son? Like father, like son. Sitting across from Lu Sheng was a man in his 30s with dark red hair and a beard. Lu Sheng lamented inwardly. I've made a fool of myself in front of you. My son is useless. He's already 30 years old, but he's accomplished nothing. All he can do is be a teacher in a school. Compared to you, he's a far cry. Lu Tianyi looked towards the source of the voice, wanting to see who this guy his dad was talking about was. He didn't know until he looked, but when he did, he was shocked. Lu Tianyi couldn't believe his eyes. Wasn't the man sitting across from his dad the S-rank wanted criminal with bounties all over the streets? How did his dad get involved with someone like this? This was the target center of the entire city's police force. Getting involved with this guy was just asking for trouble. Lu Sheng ignored his son's shock. Instead, he called the front desk downstairs. I said to inform anyone who wants to see me. Why didn't anyone inform me of Lu Tianyi's arrival? The lobby manager who picked up the call was dumbfounded. Chairman Lu, young Master Lu isn't an outsider. I made it very clear. It's anyone. Lu Sheng's voice was slightly angry. I don't like people who make decisions on their own. From now on, don't let me see you again. Go to the accounting office, settle the bill, and get out. Chapter 94. When Lu Xing hung up the phone, Lu Tianyi almost screamed, "Dad! Why did you bring such a dangerous person here?" Red Scorpion smiled faintly, but didn't react. Lu Xing never expected his disappointing son to make a name for himself in the underground world, so he didn't bother to explain. "Tianyi, let me tell you. Red Scorpion is a year older than you, but he's already a first-rate fighter in the underground world. What about you? You still can't even get a glimpse of him." I really don't know where to put my old face." "Brother Lu, don't be angry. Not everyone has the physique to break through human limits," Red Scorpion said softly. Red Scorpion was very curious about Lu Xing. Before he was saved yesterday, he didn't know that there was a true overlord of the underground world in Hudong City. Through their conversation, he understood that Lu Xing didn't want to stay in Hudong City for the rest of his life. It was because his son didn't have the potential to become a fighter that he had no choice but to settle down in this small city. With Lu Xing's strength, there was no way he could establish himself in the big cities like Beijing, Xinjiang, Suang, and so on. In terms of strength, Lu Xing was a second-rate fighter, but he had only broken through at the age of 50, so everything he had was already at the peak. He only had a few third-rate fighters under his command, and they were all placed in many places. He had always hoped that his son would one day suddenly understand, but his son didn't seem to have the slightest intention of doing so. Lu Xing had originally been prepared to give up on planning his and his son's path to the underground world, but something big happened in the F&B room yesterday. When he went to take a look, he saw that the three famous bosses of Hudong City had been defeated. At that time, he knew it was the work of a fighter. Right after he left the room, Red Scorpion appeared. Although Lu Xing wasn't a gifted person, his sixth sense told him that this person was very dangerous. That was why Lu Xing had been following Red Scorpion from afar. Although he wasn't as strong as Red Scorpion, with his many years of experience, he could still guarantee that he wouldn't be discovered. That was why he had seen Red Scorpion kill Ma Pinghai and lose to Su Yun. Lu Xing did not expect Red Scorpion and Fox Venerable to appear at the same time in Hudong City. He also did not expect a young man whom he could not recognize to be able to defeat Red Scorpion. But in the end, the old fox Lu Xing still chose to save Red Scorpion. He knew that this person was the hope of the Lu family. If he could get Red Scorpion's help, then he would be able to help his son gain a foothold in the underground world. Lu Xing had heard that after Feng Qiansui received the help of the violent Fox Venerable, he was able to unify Su Hang. Therefore, he felt that if he could get the help of Red Scorpion, he would also be able to achieve great things. Before this, no one in Hudong City had dared to do anything to Lu Xing. Even the three tycoons of Hudong City were very polite to him. Although Lu Xing did not look like a notorious person like the three tycoons of Hudong City, no one in Hudong City dared to disrespect him, including Jin Biao and the others. If he were to obtain Red Scorpion's help now, he would be able to step out of Hudong City and directly reach out to Jibei City and Jinnan City. It was also possible for him to slowly take over Jiangbei province. Lu Xing felt as if his entire body was glowing with youth at the thought of being able to take a gamble while he was still alive. However, he had neglected a problem. Red Scorpion was definitely not a person who would repay kindness like the violent Fox Venerable. Of course, this was a story for later. Right now, Red Scorpion kept calling Lu Xing Brother Lu. He was quite grateful for Lu Xing's life-saving grace. After all, if Lu Xing had not risked his life to take him away yesterday, there was a 99% chance that he would have died under Chou Yun's sword. Brother Red Scorpion, I want my son to acknowledge you as his master. Seeing that his son had come, Lu Xing might as well go all the way and take Red Scorpion as one of his family. This would be helpful for his future plans. Lu Tianyi was stunned. Me? Dad, are you kidding me? I'm not cut out for that. Kneel. Lu Xing glared at his son. Serve me tea and acknowledge me as your master. How could Lu Tianyi accept a fellow of similar age as his master? Wouldn't that be slapping himself in the face? Moreover, he had long since given up on the idea of becoming an expert. Although he was very surprised that his father could cultivate stacking force at his age and unblock all the meridians in his body, he really did not have the talent. If I could become an expert, I would have done so long ago. Dad, I can't even break through the limits of the human body. How can I become an expert? Lu Tianyi did not want to agree. Red Scorpion smiled faintly. If you want to become an expert and break through the limits of the human body, the first stage is very easy. Easy for you to say. Lu Tianyi did not believe him. Red Scorpion smiled slightly. The first step to becoming an expert is to train your muscles, bones, and tendons. You need to master the techniques and use your palms to crush rocks and break wood. If you want to do it, I can help you. Lu Sheng was overjoyed. He knew that if a first-rate expert was willing to help unblock meridians, it would not be difficult for a normal person to break through the limits of the human body and become a third-rate expert. His son's physique had always been good, so as long as Red Scorpion was willing to help, he would definitely become an expert one day. You can help me? Lu Tianyi was still at a loss. Of course, he did not dare to believe it. All right. If you can help me, I'll acknowledge you as my master. From now on, you'll be my second father. I'll listen to whatever you say. This was the effect Lu Sheng wanted. Red Scorpion nodded and said faintly, all right. Wait for me to adjust my meridians and recover my inner strength tonight. Tomorrow, I'll help you unblock all your meridians. Tomorrow? TSK. Lu Tianyi did not think much of it. If I can't help you become an expert tomorrow, you can take me to the police station to exchange for a reward. Red Scorpion said casually. Lu Sheng suddenly stood up and struck the back of his son's leg. Lu Tianyi's legs fell to the ground. Of course he had to seize this opportunity. Lu Sheng was a second-rate expert after all. He naturally understood the meaning behind Red Scorpion's words. He agreed to take in his son and help him unblock his meridians. Although Lu Tianyi was somewhat unwilling, he still chose to listen to his father's arrangements in the end. If this person could really help him become an expert, wouldn't that be a good thing? At the very least, if anyone dared to steal his woman in the future, he could easily crush them to death. Lu Tianyi's anger rose when he thought of the guy who was so close to Su Xiaoran today. If he became an expert, the first thing he would do was find that guy and let him know who he could not afford to offend. Tianyi pays his respects to master. Lu Tianyi clenched his teeth and made up his mind. He knelt down and offered a cup of tea with both hands. Master, please have some tea. Red Scorpion smiled slightly. Rise. Red Scorpion had agreed to help Lu Sheng unblock his son's meridians. His life-saving grace could be considered repaid. Therefore, if Lu Sheng wanted him to help him for the rest of his life, it was absolutely impossible. Red Scorpion could be considered extremely benevolent to be able to do this. He was not a philanthropist, so of course he would not be kind to everything. After all, helping a normal person unblock their meridians to become an expert would require a considerable amount of internal energy. Red Scorpion would not be able to recover from yesterday's injury in a short period of time, so he still needed Lu Sheng to protect him for a period of time. This was also one of the reasons he agreed to help Lu Tianyi unblock his meridians. Using up a bit of internal energy in exchange for a period of peace was definitely worth it. Brother Red Scorpion, please take care of my son in the future. Lu Sheng's calculations were appropriate, but he did not know that Red Scorpion was not someone like him could raise. Red Scorpion smiled lightly. He knew that Lu Sheng was implying nothing more than that he felt that he had saved his life. However, this was not enough reason for him, Red Scorpion, to willingly submit to him. He was someone who was going to do great things with Green Ghost. Su Xiaoran was full of praise for the medicinal cuisine. She simply did not expect that a man could actually have such good culinary skills. Guogua, your teacher is so envious of you. You can eat such delicious food every day. Guogua shook her head helplessly. Yes, that's why I can't even lose weight. Sigh. I'll try to control myself in the future. If I'm really hungry, I'll eat papayas. I must endure and not be greedy. It'll be troublesome if I become a little fatty. Why eat papayas? Su Xiaoran was stunned. Did a child know so much? She had really underestimated Guogua. Guagua glared. Of course I have to eat papayas. I have to grab the body from a baby. What if I grow up to be an airport runway? My goal is to at least surpass Sister Wanner. I really want to sew your mouth shut. Teen Wanner was caught in the crossfire, even though she was lying down. She really did not understand why she was involved. Guagua was really hateful. Xiaoran, you have to be strict with her in school. Su Xiaoran could not hold back, and almost laughed to tears. How could she be strict with such a devilish little girl? Who could bear to? She's already excellent. I don't have to be strict with her. She's very self-aware. Guagua's expression was extremely arrogant. After eating, Su Xiaoran helped to clean up the medicinal cuisine for a while. After cleaning up the Ruanqing, she was very embarrassed. However, Qin Wan'er was not polite. One moment she had someone wipe the table, and the next she had someone clean the dishes. After working in the medicinal cuisine restaurant at noon, it was also time for Guagua to go to school. Coach Su, can you help me again during the practice on the road? Su Xiaoran took the initiative to invite him. Okay. Of course, Su Yun was willing to accompany her. Guagua secretly pulled Ruanqing Shui aside and whispered, Mom, it seems that Dad is very popular. You have to work hard. Now you have Sister Wanner in front and Miss Su behind. After all, Dad is a man. It's hard to resist such a big temptation. Ruanqing Shui rolled her eyes. She knew that this little girl had nothing good to say. Go to school. Don't make wild guesses every day. Children should not meddle in adult affairs. Oh Mom, I'm doing it for your own good. Guagua pouted and said angrily, I don't care. Anyway, I don't want other fathers. Ruanqing Shui smiled bitterly. She really did not know what to do with this little girl. Su Yin directly carried Guagua in a princess carry. Tell me what you want, but only after school in the afternoon. Let's go. The Red Golf left with the three people. With Su Yun's guidance, Su Xiaoran was no longer nervous when driving. This feeling was very good. She secretly made a decision in her heart. In order to get rid of the title of road killer as soon as possible and become a driving expert, she was going to take a detour every morning to pick up Guagua to go to school. Of course, she would also take Coach Su along the way. You're tuning in to the Earbook Haven YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.